Hey, Crooked. I was lost in thought for a moment there. I was kind of I was listening to the music. Oh boy. Yeah, I think the loop for the music's like a minute and a half. Or I had to start early because I wanted to listen to it. That's actually one of the first things I composed for the game. Nice to see you, by the way. How's it going today? Nights on the instrument? Ah, good to know. I tried to use the same instruments across the soundtrack with only a few exceptions with per track. Some tracks purposefully have different instrumentations or you know, presence, and it's really dependent on most of the time it's dependent on like the fight, because each area has its own battle music. Some of it hasn't been written yet, but it has been planned. But a lot of the instrument, I realize the power of a good soundtrack in an RPG, because I think that a memorable or at the very least interesting soundtrack, I think interesting and memorable kind of go hand in hand with video game music. But when you write memorable music, I feel like that can carry a game further than just having like a generic soundtrack that, and like, oh, the gameplay is really good, but I didn't, you know, it's like you create both a visual and an auditory memory. And I feel like those memories are created more concretely when you have a soundtrack that works really well. I still, you know, it's funny is I always default choose male because it's when I'm playtesting, I always rapid mash the confirm button, which is Z. But you can actually go between and see both of them. Side. Like I was thinking about that when I first was designing. It was like, oh, should I make it so you press the button, it doesn't give you a choice? It's like, no, just no, go through it. You gotta make it so people can make a choice. But I think I'm gonna go male with my playthrough for this first, because I might be able to go through it more than once. But I'm gonna do male for my playthrough just because. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to do tutorials or no? It's funny because I designed this tutorial later in development because somebody said. I think it was because I had the realization of like, oh yeah, I need to teach people this game, because I needed to approach it as if this could be somebody's very first video game. So I needed to have a thorough tutorial, even though this game was kind of built with people who, like, you know, experienced players in mind. But I also was like, well, I'm pretty sure, you know, somebody who doesn't quite know what they're doing yet could figure it out too. It's not a particularly complex game. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you get paranoid. A good tutorial is better than having none. And a bad tutorial is worse than having none, so probably show off the tutorial just so, because there are differences between the two. Yep, please, of course. I this old man's voice always in my head. I'm like, oh yeah. There's this voice in my head of in particular about how the character talks. This scene is different than the last time I showed the game off, where I talked about the beginning of the game. Notably, there's a character near the front that I can cursor. I made it so I can capture my cursor in this. This character here, the person I'm working with, who's doing the artwork for, because a lot of this is just RPG Maker assets, and I'm modifying those. But I had her do some modifications so that she's not like some weird like Playboy bunny, because that's what it is in the original, and it's really weird. So I had her change out the outfit, and it looked better personally. Adventurers Guild or guard job. Look for the Crimson Cave. Also, this game does have mouse support. You can actually like left click and go through the game. I don't know how. I think you can play the game entirely with like mostly with the mouse. The only problem is that the weapon swap mechanic does require the arrow. At least for now. I haven't figured out a way to make it so it looks good and lets you. You can't just click on the arrows for some reason. It's kind of weird. I'll show you what I mean when I get to the battle. But yeah, so the beginning of this game is pretty much fully intact. All right, here's the thing. All right, Crooked, I want you to answer this question. Do you think I should hit yes or no? Because I will say it's kind of funny. This is something that's in the final game, and it's a bit of a surprise, but I kind of want to leave it a surprise, but I'm also like, it's funny, and it's in the demo, so it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure people find it anyway. But yeah, there is a if you hit no, there is an answer. It's kind of funny. It makes me laugh. It was actually a playtester, a good friend of mine actually was the one who he was the one who recommended that, like, hey, can you put a no something that happens if you say no? And I was like, oh, I haven't thought about that, because hit no then. Yeah, I should let me show you. Does it? Are you sure you want to risk your life on a myth? You know what? I'm good. Can I get another drink before I head home? Of course, let me get that for you. So the adventure gave up before it began. I languished over that for a bit, and I was like, no, yeah, this is funny. I don't know, there's not many. It's there's actually an example of something like this in a game I'm playing recently. In Persona 5, if they say, are you ready to play the game? And you say no, they just kick you back. They actually close the game. Like, they just kick you out, like, fully. And it's really funny. I really like it. And it's enough time where it's not like you're, oh, this is kind of cool, too. You can, this is probably for speedrunners. If you hold the Z button during cutscenes, you can skip through them. That's the best time to pull something like that. Yeah, it's barely like, it's like you don't lose any time. You're just like, oh yeah, it's like 2 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, you have to just sit through this like first half of this cutscene. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Well, what's gained is the fact that you found out that this game has a really goofy alternate ending. That's like fully, I will say that, I guess, an official story of the game. That is a 100% non-canon thing. Like, it is. That ending is literally just for a gag. It's nothing else. It is a gag. I just like it because it's funny. And of course, it is only like a couple minutes. It's not like you're in the middle of the game and it just closes out on you randomly. Because that would suck. KVC is half day's walk west and follow the trail with the mouse. Thank you. Drink and the information. All right, this is actually something I changed out later. It's such a dumb little detail, but I was annoyed that it didn't happen. On the table where the character was having their drink, I actually made a point to get rid of the drink when they leave. I don't know why. It was just a little detail that bothered me beyond belief. And I don't know exactly what it was. It was just something about it just really bothered me. Reals you and I only caves go crimson locally for how many left in search for it only to. Why do so many people go there? It's so dangerous. It's just a cave full of monsters. I'll just say there's a genie trapped with them. No grant any wish to those who find them. Suppose some would gamble their life on the chance to have the greatest wish grant. I fathom what someone so young would want for such a. And now, here's the tutorial. Walk, explore, use the arrow keys. Holding left shift lets you dash, allowing you to move quickly. You need to pause, press the X key. Pausing allows you to save your progress and check your equipment as well as your current status. Confirm selections and interact your surroundings with the Z key. Saving is important. You may lose progress if you do not save in the menu often. Exit the menus, press X to close. You understand what you've been told. I put this in because I realized that sometimes new portrait for the lady inquiring looks great, by the way. Oh, thank you. I think it looks... It definitely, I think, looks more in place than the other one I had. So I think it's good. I do understand what I've been told. Oh. He's looking at the border like, what is that? What is this orangeness? So this is so RPG Maker, it has a unique tiling system where you can have you can get behind things. You can go some things you can get behind, it's nice to check your environment. I have learned that putting items behind these kind of things, the items will show up like basically in front of them. So I try my best not to put items behind things because you can't really do that. I like how this looks. I think personally, I think it looks. I think this game looks really good. I think the thing that this art style always evokes for me is the DS. You know, like something like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. You know, that era. That's kind of what I wanted. Because I was thinking, what kind of game would I want to play, right? That's the thing that this whole game is kind of predicated on, is what is the game I want to play? And that's how this game came to be, is that in my head, I was thinking, okay, I should make the game I would want to play if I was, you know, buying a game on Steam, and I was like, oh, an RPG Maker game. Oh, this is what I want to play. And it's like, I feel like there's a certain... Oh, yeah, that's right. There's tutorial stuff. Some things in the environment can be interacted with. Changing the world around you can open new paths or close others. Try pressing Z while facing that boulder blocking your path. You have the power to destroy weaker boulders such as this. You understand what you've been told? So as you can see, boulder. It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. But we have rock. I tried my best to make it so that the rocks in the environment that can be messed with, I try to use this one as much as possible. Which is kind of weird, but I also think it looks... I think it's better to have a unified language for what, you know, what is interactable in your environment. Hey, Nahama, how's it going today? But it's good to keep the language of the game unified. Even if the environment changes, you should use things that are, like, you know, general cues that make sense. And that are uniform across the game. Like, let me show you. Break this with some fire. Boom. So to let you know, we do have skills. We do have fire. I try my best later in the game. This is actually something that I've programmed already, is that as you get more spells in the game, I try my best to have the character use different magic to solve problems. However, there's also a point in the story where he does note why he doesn't just blow things up. Something I can talk about a little bit. So I didn't want to have to make maps for every single building in every town ever. So I actually developed something specific for that. And you won't see it in this demo, unfortunately, but I'm good. How about you? I'm doing good. I'm happy to get to show this off. But when you're playing the game, I am feeling really good about this. When you're playing the game, what you can find sometimes are just, you go to press like Z, you press A on the door basically, and some doors just don't open. I just decided, no, and then I have like, it's kind of the weird way I wanted to make it so that the character comes to their own conclusions about stuff. Like, basically every time you go to open a door, if it's not a door you can open, it's locked, the character usually will have something to say. And by usually, I mean like 90% of the doors have dialogue written for them. You can actually probably get a lot of the characterization of this character just by going to each door and being like, oh yeah, this is the person and what they're thinking about when they're going through this town. Oh, something else that's different between this and the last version I showed off is, I don't think many people would notice this right away, all of the grass and trees are slightly different. I actually asked for them to be made slightly darker and to have their contrast increased a bit, because I thought that having the game have more... I just like vibrancy. I think I'm far more interested in vibrant colors than... Because I like when screens have vibrant, bright colors. And it sometimes can be very, not like super bright, like your eyes are dying kind of thing, but I just prefer it when a screen has some color. You know, I feel like I'm counterculture with this, in this sense, where it's like, a lot of games use grays and browns and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's nice and stuff, but make your browns pop a little. Oh, this look different than the default. It is. And it's slight differences, and I tried not to make it so it's like, I didn't want to kill my artist trying to make stuff like super different, or because if I had her revamp the RPG Maker art style entirely, I would not get, like, it would be too much. It would be too much for her, it'd be too much for me. And honestly, I like the art style well enough, so I kind of want to leave it alone as much as I can, quite personally. Because I kind of prefer it like this. I think it's personally much better. But I think this looks pretty good. And obviously, the art isn't 100% final. There are some things that will change before the release date. Namely, I believe the cliffs here haven't been adjusted yet. Because these are supposed to be a little bit darker. I don't think they've been adjusted yet. That tile set is still, working. You understand what you've been told. And this is the tutorial for how to talk to people. Hello, I'd like to pass you, sir. It's funny because, you'd think you could go like this way, but you can't pass this tile for some reason. It's a quirk of RPG Maker. You can't, there are like, so what it does, it determines, how you pass a tile based on flags. And for a flag, for you to go behind it, it has a star, and for you to not go through it, it's a X. The trouble is that the bottom two tiles of a tree are X, and the top two are a star. So, no matter what you do, you can't go through these bottom two tiles here. I'm gonna move my mouse so I can... No, I'm hungry. I gives food, I have some. Hungry for meat. Human meat. Oh. Okay, guess I'll die hungry then. Well, fight! And then, I remember the first time I wrote this battle theme, I had the thought of, oh my god, I don't want my players to be busting a move. I want them to be, busting the enemies. Also, I realize it's kind of loud, so I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. My bad. Hang on. Ah! Loud. I'll need to adjust that when I'm out of battle. Guard, you can resist all damage for your turn. Any vitals survive more vicious attacks. Also use certain items such as potions or other helpful items during battle. Most vital are your skills, broken down to magic or techniques. I have 2 magic spells right now, but time and effort you'll expand your might. Try attacking your foe. Yeah, this guy looks so goofy, and I have been told numerous times not to change him, so he is going to stay this way. He is going to be this way for the rest of the game. 8. 3 bars at the bottom screen. Orange joins your HP or health points. This hits 0, you'll fall in battle. Don't let this happen. Blue bars, you MP your magic points, magic, and some techniques. If it runs out, you can't use magic. Be mindful how much you use. Green bars, TP. This fills up over the course of the battle, allows you to use techniques. Filled outside of battle by using healing magic or items. Resets after each battle, though, so use it up when you can. Yo! Hey, Delphori, how's it going today? Foe seems exceptionally weak. Some foes will not be this pathetic. It still makes me laugh when I read that. In a battle you did not start go poorly, you can press X and back out of escape. This opponent does not require flight. Finish sub Forge onward. Alright, let me just wrap this up real quick. Alright, get rid of him. Yeah. We got tech. Be gone with him. Alright, cool. And, oh, so this is something interesting. So, when you play, if you've never played the game before and you play the tutorial, you're guaranteed this health potion every time. So, you get a health potion from finishing this fight every time. Also, this is money. This is something that Alright, I'll make sure it's made clear when you're in... Item? It's status? Nope. Huh. It does... Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom. So the money at the bottom, boy just burned the poor guy. To be fair, he was gonna try and eat me, so that's how it works. That is the proclivity of the fight. But I made it so that for first-time players who have never played this game, I wanted to make sure that healing potions are more available if you're just starting. If it's your first playthrough, I thought it'd be good to give extra healing items for a first-time player. Because I think it would help them out in a tight situation. Oh, this is also something that RPG Maker does how many health potions are in the game? How many can you buy is the question. Because you can buy them in stores, but there's only a limited number you find in the world. Like small, medium, max. Oh. There's technically a couple different ones. There's the, regular healing potions. There's this one, the enchanted one, and there's this one, strong and enchanted. There's 3. There's those 3, and they do different scales. Because after a certain point, they actually heal also by a percentage as well as by a base number, because they're meant to be reflective of how strong you are as a player. So if you level up a lot, then it's like, okay, some of these potions will do more. There's also the unstable health potion, which could heal you for 5 or it could heal you like 100%. Its variety is based, it's like 50% variety. It's actually a really weird potion. And that one's based on luck, but that's because I have a tendency to like making luck-based things. I just happen to really like it. Okay, wait. Before I continue, I'm gonna adjust the game volume really quick. Set up a little bit. And then in here, oh, whoops. All right, so one thing I forgot is that the whole bottom of there turns into. You can kind of walk. You can kind of walk. Options. 40%. Oh, this is that BGS, by the way, is the background sound. Some areas have an ambience to it. Like this one has this like little rumbling cave effect. That's because I kind of just thought it'd be a good idea to have something like that. All right, here we go. Dagger looks good enough to use. Here's armors, break armors and shells. Stormer, father's advice. Major equip new weapons in the menu. You can have one weapon of each weapon type equipped at the same time. In the menu, go to equip and then select equip to equip the dagger you just received. 10 different weapon types that one may use in battle. You have more than one weapon equipped. You can change between your equipped weapons freely before choosing your action. So basically, I'll equip the dagger after this explanation, but basically you can always swap between your equipped weapon. I'll show you. Swap what weapon you attack with freely in battle before choosing to attack or use magic or items. During a battle, when you have attack highlighted, change weapons by pressing left or right on the arrow. Weapon you have equipped when you choose your action will be the one you gain stat bonuses from. For example, swapping to your dagger will give you an agility boost and raise attack. But the magical attack bonus your sword gives you will not affect you on that turn. Use your weapon carefully before deciding to attack or use magic. So basically, when you use a dagger, generally, your attack and agility will raise, your speed. But you'll lose the magic attack bonus of your weapons, of like your other weapons. So the stats that each weapon confers to you do not affect you unless it's in your hand when you choose on your turn when you choose your action. You cannot swap equipped weapons during battle. See how weapon, armors, and charms affect your stats in the equip menu. All weapons have at least one damage type, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Do you need this information repeated? No. Magic spells techniques have their own damage types as well. Damage types are important. Enemies all have weaknesses and resistances to type. You want the full explanation on damage types. If you do not understand this concept, you may find battles exceedingly difficult. This part is the tutorial that I also got a little snarky with if you skip it. Because I don't give you a second chance to read it, but that's just because I'm pretty sure most people will, if you play it yourself, I should go through it this time because this is the full tutorial run. But the no answer is funny. I do like it. It's also meant so that if somebody does the tutorial because they want the... Say somebody wants the bonuses of doing the tutorials, but they don't want necessarily to have to read everything. Kind of could just zoom through it. Granted, you can also hold Z and zoom through a bunch of dialogue if you want. I mean, don't skip the dialogue I wrote, but... Nah, I'm kidding. I imagine some speedrunner somewhere will want to set a record, and nice to skip through. Yes. All damage types are more or less effective based on the enemy. Piercing damage is strong against heavily armored enemies. Slashing damage is strong against unarmored enemies, as well as demons and devils. Bludgeoning damage is strong against frail and nimble opponents. Magic and techniques use more damage types, however. There are 10 magic types. You'll discover them all soon and their properties in battle. You'll need to apply logic and consider your options carefully in order to choose the best spell for battle. For example, fire damage is strong against animals and plants. However, fire would be useless against a being made of fire. Some enemies that resist magic overall need to be defeated with weapons. Experimenting is vital to your success, and battle may take some getting used to. You need this information repeated. No. I know you can do this. Be careful. Remember to save often. Also, I kind of wanted to give the player a little bit of affirmation. Like, hey, man, I know you can do this. Just be careful. Save often. Which reminds me, I need to save. I forgot this uses the save core. Ah! Oh, my God. I need to get rid of all that crap. I think this uses save core. What is all that? Why is all this? I need to get rid of all that. That's not good. I need to write that down. That's not good. Why is that there? Why is save core on? I turned it off. What sort of boobery is this? Get rid of that. Or at the very least, I need to get rid of all those variables because oh my God, very confusion. I'll need to fix that myself later. Oh well. How my ears get warm where I'm like, oh God, no. Why is there an error? No. It's fine. It's just what. That's the point of the demo. I'm pretty sure somebody will be like, hey, why does the save menu look so crappy? And I'm like, yeah, that's my bad. That one is just weird. I'll just have to fix it. That's fine. Oh, look, some cruddy spare change. Still taking it, kind of broke right now. Gold, or simply referred to as G, is the currency of Eidola. Can be exchanged for goods and services like weapons or a knight and an inn. Be mindful how much gold you have and spend it wisely. Oh, hey! First battle. I forgot to equip the dagger. You gotta be kidding. Hang on, let me finish this quick then. Hang on. Apologies. I'm gonna... Alright, I will say, this is also telling of how I play the game. I spam magic like crazy. That is because that is how I play the game. I will say, I have... Alright, so actually, let me show what I mean. So, so when you have your sword equipped, these are your stats. When you switch your dagger, boom, you lose a bit of your magic attack, but retain like the same attack level, but higher speed. I actually mathematically know that if you're using the dagger, you'll always go first against the bats. And when you're using your sword, you'll always go second. Until you level up, but... Also, your armor's down here. There's also the Black Pendant, which is the first charm you get when you start the game. I guess, for anybody who doesn't know that I am an absolute nerd when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! The Black Pendant is a direct reference to the actual Black Pendant in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is an equipped spell that increases your attack by 500. Which this actually kind of does, because it's the reason your attack is up to 25. Because it increases your attack and magic attack by 5. It's the first one you get, and I think it's... I personally really like... I like that the player starts with it. I don't know, I just really like the item itself. Also, alright, so this is a bit of level design that I kind of don't focus on too much, because it's just how I design levels. Whenever I'm designing a level, whether it's in D&D, video games, in general, just any level design I do, I try to ride this balance of making a level that's legible, making it so that, you know, the player knows where they're going, how to get there, and they always have good control of what they can see, and also making sure that they won't get lost unless it's the purpose for them to get lost. I don't want them to like get lost so hard that they can't figure out where they're going at all. That I don't want. But it's this weird line between realistic and game designed. Because game designed levels, I actually think sometimes they kind of break. If you do it in the wrong way, it can break your immersion. But if you go too far into realism, it can also break your immersion. And there's a reason for that, where if you make a cave too realistic, sometimes you end up with a bit of a strangeness to how they feel, because they don't feel like they're guiding you somewhere. They don't feel like you're actually following a path of the, it doesn't feel quite smooth. And I think that good level design comes from a combination of... Okay, so here we go. Oh, these are Ironhides. These guys' art is not final, but that's because these little babies do not... I have been trying to figure out how to replace them yet, and I have not gotten to yet. So let me show you damage types, because if I use my sword, here's what happens. Not as much damage at all. This? Babies? These enemies, they're meant to actually be this is one of the few enemies where the art has not been finalized. Oh hey, I got a critical. Heck yes. The art for those guys has not been finalized yet. That is not a baby, that is my boy. Also, to show off the mouse functionality, so if you right click with the mouse, you can access the menus. You need the boy to see the game. He needs to see what his dad's been up to, what he's been keeping me organized on. So you can't actually navigate the menus with your mouse alone. So you can't actually play this with just your mouse, for the most part. For some reason, I can't. It doesn't have functionality for clicking like the arrows for some reason. Very weird. And you can actually also... This is something that's new in MV that I remember when I first bought VX Ace. I was like, oh, this is why MV's better. This is also why I might be doing a mobile release of the game. Because you can tap the screen and go places. That said, I have to figure out how to make the weapon swap mechanic work properly in there. Let's watch some big bugs of this. Better make good use of it. Haven't used the equip menu to equip a new weapon yet. Press X to access the menus and try it now. Would be unwise to not utilize all you can to achieve victory. But yes, some of the artwork in the game is not finalized. Okay, so this is actually a great example to show this off. The Warhammer reduces speed, but increases your physical defense and your attack a little bit more than your dagger or your sword. So the Warhammer is kind of like your paladin, you know, your tank, your archetypical fantasy tank. I personally really like. I know that one of my friends who's played the game a couple times. He really likes the Warhammer. That's kind of his go-to. One of my friends really likes the gauntlets. So, all right. So I'm gonna go and get myself. I'm gonna sprint for a little bit. I'm gonna go get the. I'm gonna go get. I know where there's another weapon, so I'm gonna go get that. Also, something I kind of did subconsciously. I don't know if anyone would have noticed it, me running like that. If you're looking at the screen at any time when you're going through this area, I tried to leave these like little rock pile things. They're kind of hard to see, but when you're looking for them, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Where there's like a line going up the cave. Oh, well, now I can't talk about it. I'll just escape it. You can see that there's these little like gray spots. I'll try to point at here, 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 and there's always one on screen. I kind of did this as a way to subtly guide the player to go up. I mean, obviously going up kind of seems like it's obvious, but it's not something that I don't think people would think of all the time, is trying to use leading lines or subtle, clues to get the player to go the way you want them to go. And sometimes it can be very difficult for players to just go the way you want them to. So you have to be mindful of that and just be like, yeah, this is something you need to just be aware that like the player needs to know where they're going. Go this way. Because okay, yeah, so I can't click on this arrow for some reason. Nope. Is there a way to? Nope. Yeah, so you have to use the arrows for this one, sadly. You can't just, you have to do something with this. If I can figure out how to do that, I might make a mobile version where you have to click on it or do something else. More just a matter of how I'll do it, but we'll see. I do think that, so these enemies here, the Ironhides, as they're named, they're actually supposed to be horseshoe crabs. I have not finished the art yet. It's also good to break up the pace, artistically speaking. Yes. And I tried to design all three of the areas in the beginning of the game. They all have a different visual language. And I hopefully will get to show you guys soon what I mean by that. Okay, let's see. These guys also guard a lot because they're meant to be like, these big horseshoe crabs. So they're not necessarily supposed to be high attacking, high power enemies. So they're not meant to be super, powerful things. Found the hunter's longbow. This string is fairly new. How does it get back here? Now we have a bow. The bow slightly raises agility and works on. It has the same. Generally the bows are a little bit weaker than than your swords, but they are comparable. So if you want to use a bow, I actually have, the last time I did a playtest myself of the game, like up to the point where I finished, I actually was mostly a bow and whip main because I personally, God, I hate this. I hate that song. I do not like how that looks. I need to fix that. I don't know why save core did that. I'm probably gonna be fixing that tonight, actually, after stream. I don't know. I tried using a plugin to make the menus look nicer, so that might be a little bit my bad, but I didn't realize that it would just throw variables up there randomly, so I needed to get rid of those. I could adjust the menus and just make them look nicer, but I don't know. I kind of liked how the old ones looked, so I might adjust that. Then again, I will say it is kind of my fault because I don't tend to save when I'm playtesting the beginning of the game. I actually tend to rush through the game and not save, so that's kind of my bad. Yeah, see, I could have caught this if I wasn't if I was being a little bit safer about it, but ready? So another thing I tried to do, mainly because I like this as a indicator, is that if you could hear music while you're walking around an area, you're not going to get attacked by anything. And I tried to use this as a way to make sure that the player knows that if they've entered an area and there's no music, that they're in danger. So that so that if they don't hear music, they know that there's a chance for random encounters. Because I know that random encounters are kind of a faux pas in the RPG field right now, like in the genre. And I personally really like them, but I also recognize I need to compromise and say, okay, I want to make sure that the player knows when they're in a place that they won't get jumped randomly. So by removing music from the area, I kind of make sure that the player knows. Big door, beta stone slides and instructions. Short passage written on the tablet. Keystones 3, passage for thee. You can enter the door if you gather me, these keystones 3. Sounds like something a rhyming fool, right? But if I need 3 keystones, just mean I need to explore some. And if you go back to the door, I don't have all the keystones yet. I'm not going down there yet. I'm not going down there. This way. I know where I want to go. This is kind of a me thing. I designed the game in mind of you going left first, then right, then center. Mainly because I just like that. It's how I designed it. But I have had multiple playthroughs of people I've handed the game to who say that they went for the guy on the right side first, which is psychologically bound to happen because most people are right-handed and they tend to go to their right if they have to choose like a branching path. Most people will choose their dominant hand side. So kind of a oops on my part, but also I also made it so that enemies in this area can wait and kind of hang out, because there is actually notably there's in the early parts of RPGs, you don't want which one is the spider? The spider is the stairwell, which is you have to go downward down those stairs next to the door. And I will show that. I'll probably just show the area when I go back this time. And this was also a good example to show how good the hammer is. All right, bonk him. Bonk. The hammer's quite good, I will say. I do understand why my friends really like this. The hammer's quite good, I will say. Okay, we have leveled up. So this is our stats as they are with the weapon we're holding, by the way. So if you go to the sword, you'll get generally the... Ooh, apologies. You'll get what's close to your normal stats, but I personally really like having the stats be this way. I think I just realized that magic defense is kind of low. Check that. I'll need to check that later. What's that? Need to adjust that later. Alrighty. I also try to reward every time a player goes down like some side path or does something different. I try to give them a weapon or something. A lot of the game is focused on weaponry, and I think that's because I think players like weapons a lot more. Like, leveling up is cool and all, but having the ability to control and fine-tune your build, I think that is a little bit stronger. All right, time to spam magic more, because we have lightning now. I will say, once you get Spark, you start entering the area of the gameplay where you have the option now to start striking multiple enemies at a time. And for some enemies, lightning just doesn't do a whole lot. It just almost does nothing. But I like having an ability that lets the player have more control of the action economy. Okay, so this is the first time you'll see an area where it's just starkly different from the rest of it. With this area, I was actually going for a kind of like the Zelda 2 temple look, because it's supposed to be labyrinthine on purpose, because of the boss fight here. It's sick literary reference. Run. Item. Leather whip. Another great for tripping people up, but use. Good thing I took less of that weird rogue in Kelhaida. And I do like how these weapons work. Alrighty. Yeah, this is the weapon I usually use because the whip is... I personally really like the whip. Because whips always have a chance to do status ailments. And I kind of wanted to make a... I wanted to make it possible to use status ailments in a fun and interesting way. Oh, well. I can't use the whip against these guys. So, this one's where logic kind of has to strike you a little. You can't stab or slash a skeleton very well. You're just gonna have to beat him with a hammer. Ow. I still haven't figured out why the weight animation is like that. I thought it changes to nothing, but they're like, nope, here's an animation. I'm like, oh, okay. For example, let me show you. 4. Oh, Meowdy. Hi, Claudia. How's it going today? I'm playing my own game. Alrighty. Also, please let me know if it's too loud. I've been trying to adjust it as I can. There we go. Getting quick stuff too. I'm good. Ah, very good. Very good to hear. It's been a little bit. Life's been a little busy. For how to get there. There's stuff. I'm gonna grab that later. I'll grab it later. First, back. Got the upper hand. Good. Kinda don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with these enemies. These enemies, I'm just like, please no. Excellent. Good to know you're doing well. I've been working on this for quite a while, and I'm hoping that the survey that was included in the game, I hope that people fill that out, because I think it would be quite... Oh, well. I always go on this outer route for some reason. Whip. No, but I am going to save really quick with my jank save menu that I don't like. I need to get rid of some of this, because I don't know why it's like this. I don't know why it did this. Very frustrating. Need to fix that. I definitely need to fix that. It perturbs me. I mean, I have like 2 notes down for the save menu. I don't like it. That's okay. It's a demo. It is meant to be fixed. Also, here's the first boss of the game. He's actually the first one I designed in general. Mostly because I really like him. The fight is generally the like, okay, first test of your ability. Also, this boss fight is the music for this was written far longer before anything else ever started for the game, because I wrote a song in Ableton when I took composing for video games a long while ago, and I took that song and just kind of like reverse engineered it into the like a lot of the boss themes for this game, and I took a lot of the ideas from it and turned it into the music for this game because the melody was so good. Also, this pre-boss theme is something that I try to use more than once. I like it. The foolish challenger, search the limits, shows the best. Appear to have my wish granted. Nothing. What is your wish? About some vanity, some form of vanity or grasp of power. Want to set the world right. I won't let you stop me. And now it's time for... I will say, this dialogue was written about a year, about 3 months before Elden Ring came out. This is not me trying to... Forgot about that. I haven't listened to the pre-boss theme in a while. Oh. I'm ready. I'm mentally ready to fight my own boss fight. Ah. Now I need to win. This is also why I gave you the whip in the first place, but I'm gonna use the sword. I'm gonna try to do the sword fight. Ow. Ow. Just ow. Actually, no, you know what? No, get the whip out. Get the whip. Do it one more time. Maybe I can. I'm fishing for status ailments right now. Ow. Fire, I think. Actually, wait, no, I know what I can do. I can use a technique. I have enough TP for this one. I can actually use this for once. I keep forgetting that I have this. Even though this is a level 1 ability, I always forget I have this. Oh, that actually did it. Holy crap. You know, You know, for how often I've played my own game, why do I keep forgetting that this is a thing that I can do? Like, we have the technology. Now, we did get the Rid Rock. Got the Rid Rock. I appreciate. I really like the keystones. I don't know. They're. I need to make some extra assets for some other stuff later with keystone stuff. I might make my own rocks for those. It's just I know for a fact that it's very easy for me to be like, oh, Chaos Emerald book. I'm like, do not. I'm gonna run for a few fights because I just want to get to the next area. But I actually designed this place as a labyrinth on purpose because. Yeah, because every time I see a Minotaur, I do think, oh, they should be accompanied by an appropriately labyrinthine size area. Because it just makes sense to me. I grew up with Greek myth, so to me it makes sense to use Greek myth as the basis for it. I need to change the animation for waiting. I just make it something else. I did actually, I guess, I'll try to run from Iron Hides. Oh, I can't. Ah, I'm at the point where my defense is just dodging. I see. This is probably a good time for me to show off Tremor. This spell has been... I actually had to increase the cost of this and Spark because this spell is just generally really good. It's probably one of the better area of effect spells in the game. However, it does have one major problem, and that's that it does not hit flying enemies, because Earth Magic would not reach birds. So it is actually pretty common for enemies that can fly or, you know, are magically inclined to just be to be resistant to or just immune to earth damage. Generally, if it has a pair of wings, don't try it. It was just like a thing that I was like, oh, I need to balance this out somehow. So, oh, maybe make some enemies just not take a whole lot of it. I thought it was a good idea. That save menu is going to drive me nuts, by the way. I'm going to be thinking about it the entire time, by the way. I'm going to be thinking about that a lot. It's just going to be something I think about in every waking moment. Okay, so here. The stairs. Oh, the music glitched out. Why not make... Fix that too. Meh. Because you have to fade out the background music when you do some of this stuff. Oh, no, it's gone. Never. It just takes... Oh, that's right. It takes longer. Oh, no, it's still here. That's frustrating. You usually have to... I think... It's frustrating. Usually you have to fade out the music in RPG Maker. So this is something I've run into with RPG Maker a couple times now, where I have to fade out the music in a bunch of areas because the background music doesn't just go away. It just says, oh yeah, it'll play until you get rid of it yourself, which is very frustrating and can be... It has been a font of frustration for me at times. Oh, getting lucky dodges. I'm gonna squash big bugs with this. This is the area with the spiders, though, so if anyone has arachnophobia, I do apologize. Thankfully, these spiders are very cartoonish. I'm not gonna lie, they are cartoonishly designed. Yeah, see, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but if the music... Yeah, see, that's broken. Ah, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. I'll need to adjust accordingly. But that's okay. This is part of the process, though, is that sometimes you make mistakes. What does confuse me, though, is... Wait, hang on. I kind of want to pop open the project and take a look, because now I'm kind of like, what? Why is it like that? But I thought that it wasn't on there, so that's curious to me. But, ah, well. I had to miss something, right? You know, it's like, There's always that one bit I missed. In a bunch of other areas in the game, you know what's funny? Now that I think about it, of all the areas in the game, of course I'd miss one near the beginning, where the music is like that, right? Where I missed that musical bit. I think Ice Magic does more. I forget. Of course, there's a bit where I miss it. The trouble is that it's because you have to put in a line of code into every event where you're transferring between maps, and if you miss putting it down, it will just ignore that. Like, it won't like, it doesn't like it when you do that. If you, oh, whoops. I'm just gonna run. This is fine. Play the music. Still broken? Yep, there it is. God bless. Wah. Yeah, it's funny because it doesn't come up often in playtesting, and it's something that I don't, maybe I don't notice it, maybe I don't see it. It is something though that it's one of those things that I can very easily miss from not paying attention. Probably after the stream, I'm probably going to go fix that. Like, just go right away and be like, no, I gotta go fix this. Just go right away, fix that problem. At bottom, change armor and charms. Some come with special properties, might be crucial. So, to make the point here, the white necklace is a defense-oriented version of your pendant. So if you want to be a more tanky character, you can switch to the necklace. And it will definitely be a far stronger piece of equipment. Oh, whoops. Oh, here we go. Oh, I didn't equip the gauntlets. Need to go equip those. But I think this is important though that I confront when I make mistakes, because it is genuinely something that happens more than a couple times. I got bandages though. Because this is something that happens in game design all the time. As much as people, I think sometimes people, like players, get in their head that, oh, well, isn't it easy to, catch, to like, you wouldn't make mistakes. You can catch this stuff, right? And frankly, no. Especially if you're one person, it's like you need other eyes on your project to catch a problem. And this is also true when you have like one person or 1,000. If you don't have one person who can see the problem for what it is, it can be extremely hard to catch a certain problem. This is good armor. Now we have higher magic defense. Magic generally is more powerful than physical attacks, and that's why magic has always been a resource-based thing. I know some people they take umbrage with the magic points bar, like the MP bar. I personally, at this point, I'm okay with it. And in fact, I'm a big fan of it, but that's because, to me, it makes logical sense that your HP follows the same rules. So it makes sense to me that you would organize your health and magic the same way, just on a different scale. Alright, so the trick of the gauntlets is that gauntlets raise your attack and magic attack at the expense of defense. They also raise your speed, so they can do some cool stuff. And they're also wicked strong at spiders, so. As I recall, one friend of mine who played the game, people are against the MP bar. Yes. I do know why, though. And it's because it's to some people, it's arbitrary. Like, it's like, okay, well, why does it just have a flat number to it? And I can understand the argument of, well, why is it that why magic is limited to literally like a numbered numeric resource, when in a lot of lore, it's based on the will of the user, and it's a lot of the brain power of the mental will of the person. To be fair, it's also I think the problem also is that I can see that for some games it makes less sense, especially because all of your spells follow the same power, because all of your spells draw from the same resource, rather than having spells of higher power take more strength and spells of less power, becoming stronger with time. Hey, how's it going, sweetie? It's going good. We're going through it. I found a bug in the demo already, so we have notes already for what to fix, which is good. But I think it's because I think I know where the divide is for what people like using bars and having a stat that can grow with magic. I do know the group that doesn't like that are the same people who are purists for Dungeons and Dragons and for like spell slots. Because spell slots allow for stuff like you have cantrips where it's spells you can always use, and you have abilities that are consistent. There's a number on your physical health, there could be a number on your mental health. That's true. Okay, so meta knowledge in hand, I'm going to go this way. Okay, I'm also going to save because you know what's funny? I feel like I know why this particular error was not caught. Ow. Got the upper hand. Okay, I'm going to use Tremor. But it's a curious argument, and I think it's one that does have. It depends on the style of the game you're going for. But I kind of decided on using RPG Maker and by extension this system, primarily due to the fact that I personally really like this style of gaming. I think the stuff like Dragon Quest and this style of gaming and this style of RPG is my favorite. And again, I was designing a game I wanted to play, so you end up with this. How's it going, by the way, sweetie? I hope I asked. Ooh. I did try to get the game to as many people as I could, but I also recognize that it's just like, oh yeah, it's a demo. You know, some people see it, it'll be good. All right. Well, now I fixed the music. I feel like this is why, because I usually rush down here and just kind of get the scene going. Oh yeah, this music, I guess fun fact about this music, I wrote it with a heavy. There's this one song in the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories soundtrack that I had in my head when I wrote it, and it's very good. Doing well. I was excited to see the demo. Apologies for being late. I was doing things like that. No, no worries. No worries about that. But thank you for stopping by. It's really nice to see you. And we're not too far in. This is about like I think a third of the way through the demo, but I might be playing it again just so people can see more of it. But I'm not too worried. Whoop! Oh, he goes. Okay, well, need to fix that really quick. I have notes to fix for my stuff really quick. Hi, Spider. How you doing? Ow. Oh, that's right. He starts summoning the Jibber Jabbers. I remember. And this guy uses different music for a very important reason, but I'll talk about it later. Okay, I need to spam Tremor so I can clear out the extra spiders. I hope I didn't just die. That would be upsetting. My god. I forgot how actually insane it gets here with this one. Heal. Ow. Ow. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. Okay. Whew. Okay. I think I'll be good. I just need to be careful. What if I just beat the spider? Oh, yeah. Oh, crap. Of course, it's gonna use freaking Dark Megiddo. Ah. So, that's a special buff for only specific enemies. I'll talk about what it does later, but it's just... It's not good for me. It's not good for me. Alright. You guys are doing a lot of damage to me, though. Got a lot of spiders. I forgot how many spiders I put in this fight. Oh, that one died too. So, my brain is still trying to... on my end, it's still pretty loud, so I might need to adjust it on your guys' end too. The music that you just heard was written in a very different manner to the other boss themes. Because I was kind of... because the way that demons are in this game, in Red Genie, in the games in general, is that demons generally tend to be alien to their surroundings, and they tend to be really alien creatures in general. So the notion that I had was that I would write their music to be alien to the rest of the things around it, and use that music to be just far more intense and strange. And it's also one of the few places where I'll use synths and use methods to adjust to like have like this strange alien feeling to their presence. Similarly, other bosses that touch on either being demonic or being, you know, like down into evil will use synths in their and synthetic sounds in their songs to reference that connection. Because I thought that it would be good to link those things together in some way. I like that music choice. I think for some people it will be very, like, you know, might be quite confusing. it might very well be confusing, but I also think that I think it makes a lot of sense in practice. Also, with the hammer, I've reached the point where they attack and it does nothing. I'm gonna try and figure out how to make it so they at least do 1 damage. So, just because I don't like that they don't do, like, anything, but it's also kind of funny when they go to hit you and it just kind of like, oh yeah, it did nothing. Also, I guess it's kind of weird. I kind of did it on accident, and I was trying to figure out why this sounded familiar. And it is because I tried to use metal and heavy rock as the inspiration for any demon songs, and also for any songs that use that same mentality of, okay, this is an enemy that is into, you know, like, this is an enemy that's just despicable and or like demonic in presence, and, you know, it's basically a way to denote evil, like in a more base sense rather than being something that's just, oh yeah, it's a bad guy. Some bad guys get their own music, but I like the use of using metal and rock. It also lets me work in the music that I'm the most comfortable with. By trade, I am a guitarist, so when it comes to writing music, I tend to write with rock ideas in mind. And I've gotten a lot better and more mature about using more advanced methods in music. I just prefer using simple methods to get more complexity out of music. And I think that's especially true in even this battle theme uses something I learned through my research and my practice, was what's called a mode, shifting, like a mode change. And this is something that I'll actually have to point it out when I'm gonna let the music play a little bit so I can show you what I mean. But I also like borrowing the music theory talk, the flatted fifth and the flat second on your scale, on your intervals. My favorite. Those two are my favorite of all time. So what I like doing, though, is with this one, I borrowed the mode that's darker in tone. Which, for music theory, people may be like, oh, I see what you mean, but because I wrote everything in minor, and then I moved to Phrygian, which, for those who don't know music theory, I'll show you what I mean. That note right there. That note, that note, that one right there is not in the key of the song. It's borrowed from its local Phrygian scale. So if you take all of the modes of music and you line them up, you can actually kind of rank them by lightness or darkness. And minor is kind of like near the bottom. Phrygian and Locrian are below that, though. They're darker in sound and can be quite sinister when used properly. And I liked swapping to that for this song because I thought it had a really cool effect on the music. And it also worked as a really good B section, where, you know, it goes from A section to B section. And I thought it worked really well, so I'm gonna level up a little more because I know the mage guy can absolutely smoke me if I'm not careful, so. I will say this, the change to the spiders cutscene, I haven't finished his artwork yet, which is, that's, well, me. I'm probably gonna have to have the friend I'm working with do that, because... Can I run? No, I cannot. Well, they're not gonna hit me anyway, so this is fine. This is fine. I will use, oh, we have new magic. What is wind? How does wind do on these guys? I always forget. I kind of forget how wind does on these ones. Oh, no, that's not great. Okay, well, we'll try frost, maybe? I always forget. Trouble I have sometimes is even I forget my own status ailments. Never mind, I remember. Obviously, fire's good against spiders, so... Bonk. Very good. I actually have been adjusting the... You know that when you hit somebody and it has the numbers rolling? I actually have been adjusting it a little bit because I wanted it to be faster for the sake of people who want to play the game in a quicker pace. I didn't want it to be too slow, though, where it's like you don't see the numbers rolling. It just kind of looks like a mess if it's not long enough. But I think right now it's like a second and a third, maybe? Throw elements of the spider and see what sticks. That's pretty much my the mentality. Honestly, that's kind of how a lot of enemies in this game work, is if you're not quite sure what to hit them with, just try hitting them with everything. 2 magic potions. Also, something that got added after I was told to do so, basically, was after you level up, you recover health and MP, because I was told that it was kind of difficult to keep the game going, to keep moving in the game if you don't do that. Which I did notice was something that was shared in a lot of RPGs, is even like in Stellar Glow we even see it. Because it's also a tactical thing, but it's also really helpful. Because it means that you're not constantly stuck having to heal while also dealing with new stats and health bars and stuff, so just easier. Oh. Okay, now this one I can show how good Gust is against bats. Because this one does, yeah, it does a stupid amount of damage. It's like, I think it's like double overkill on them, I think. If I recall, it's a really dumb amount of damage. And that's true for all flying enemies, where wind is just stupid strong. I wanted to include, in the elements of magic, so if I go to magic, I wanted to include those elements that nobody uses. In their magic settings, in their like D&D does it, and I think it's cool, but nobody ever uses in RPGs wind, earth, and acid. They can use light and dark. Sometimes happens. Sometimes you like water and ice are kind of the same thing, and lightning and fire are always there, and there's always healing magic. Nobody uses, like Golden Sun did, and that's why I remember seeing Golden Sun doing that. I was like, oh, that's really cool though, right? Like, it's cool to have magic like that, where you have something that's just interesting, right? You have like an element that doesn't, they're not in the like, you know, the, what would I call it? The like the elements like earth, like it's weird that earth is one of the ones that they just forget. Everybody just kind of forgets earth magic. I don't know, it's like, it's one of the 4 main elements in Avatar, and people are like, oh yeah, we just don't use that in like our, oh, the mystic balls are still here, that's right. These guys are a little close. I need to adjust the spacing there. I need to adjust the spacing of the enemies there. This is because I updated the assets for these very recently. Because the artist I've been working with just recently finished this. I won't say this is a final, you know, final art. No, I'm not saying that, but this is representative of the final piece. And like in terms of what we're going for, I personally really like it. I really like the Mystic Ball. It's very cool. I need to hit this thing. I kind of forgot that they're, oh yeah, these guys use magic. I always forget that these guys use magic, and it disturbs me greatly. I forget. Oh yeah, they're made of magic. I remember now. Ow. Okay, get rid of you. Excellent. The Mystic Ball design actually was something when I told what I wanted to the artist I work with, my thought process was the mystical shine ball from Yu-Gi-Oh, but I wanted it filled with like the 3 basic elements because that's what they use. And I thought that also it would be very cool for the first opponent of the game for like magic would be, oh, I forgot the thing. Sling. Okay, so the sling, I personally think the sling might very well be the weapon that gets used the least in the game. Even just in general, just among all the weapons in the game, the sling is probably the least used, which makes me sad, but I kind of know why. I think it's because most people because if you look at the sling, it's high magic attack versus everything else. Because the magic attack is like 35, and nothing else really gets close to there. And I might need to buff them a bit, because the slings are supposed to be the spellcasting focus, you know, the wizard one. Kind of remind me of the living spells in D&D. Kind of, yeah. I liked the idea of the enemy design being something less sentient and more just, oh, I'm defending the place. And I like the way they look. I think having them look like that is really cool. I think it's neat. And obviously, their art is fantastic, so I just always like it. Go. And this area is the last area we're going to in our trip through the beginning of the game again. I personally believe that using this tutorial area as the demo at every time I do it, I personally think it's a good idea because it's the tutorial, and also it's mostly representative of what the game is going to try to do. All right, can I can use magic. Yes. Okay, good. I forget what Earth does to you guys, but oh. I kind of forgot how much damage that does. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Whee! Oh, also with the mouse control, I should probably note, if you click on an item, you will grab the item when you reach it. So if you're playing mostly with mouse, you can get away with doing that a lot, where you just click on an item. I should probably equip that spear. It eviscerates them, apparently. Yeah, apparently. Pretty good. I'm kind of impressed. All right, spear. We have one weapon left, the mace. So spears are weird because they boost your physical attack. They also boost luck. They're I believe besides whips, the only other weapon that adjusts luck at all. Not this whip, but other ones do. Spears always adjust agility, luck, and attack. And they're kind of in this weird state of, like, I know that my one friend really likes the spear. They used it pretty much the whole way through their playthrough. I personally added the spear for my brother. Because in every Dark Souls game, and in every FromSoft game, if there's a spear or a halberd, especially the halberd, that is his weapon. And to me, it's like, the polearm is a weapon that is very undervalued in general, despite the fact that in myth, polearms are, like, amazing. Especially Celtic myth, like the Gaia Boliga. Amazing. A fantastic weapon. It also blows you up, apparently. But, like, it fills you with thorns and stuff. But I wanted to also include weapons that are, and make them special, because there are some weapons in RPGs, I just feel like people are like, oh yeah, the mage. Oh, this is the mage. It's like, oh, but the build should be a lot, like, something you can focus on. I don't think the spear will do good against these guys, because I think they're dodgy, so I'm gonna use the sling and blow them up again. Explosion! Oh, the status ailment went off first. Oh, I see why. Oh, that was weird. Oh, didn't know that. If a stat... Oh, because it applies a status ailment first, and then the damage carries through. Okay. Yeah, there are some things about RPG Maker that I'm still trying to figure out why it does the thing it does. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me in some cases. But I have determined there is a reason why. Most of this is written in JavaScript. And even though I specialize in JavaScript, like C++, C++, C#, and JavaScript are the three coding languages I know the best. JavaScript is specifically, I spent my last year of college basically working only in JavaScript because my data visualization class required me to use JavaScript for websites. Even though the websites were kind of secondary, it's more about making the spreadsheets. Making good spreadsheets and making good data visualization. But I spent a lot of time with JavaScript. And even reading through the JavaScript that does exist in the RPG Maker code, I still have no freaking clue what it's doing. It seems like it runs at times on some, like, eldritch logic, right? Like, it runs on something different. It is just some weird, like, method of power. Like, I don't know what it's doing. But it is very strange. But I do appreciate what it does do, that I understand. A lot of your work is done in the RPG Maker editor. I have to comment you on the effort of coding in RPG Maker must take. I have VX8 myself, and I just got around with the basics, never touched the code itself. Well, here's the thing. Here's the one thing I will note. I try my best not to touch the code if I can. I try to understand what it's doing, but I try not to touch it as much as possible, just because, man, there's a lot of stuff there that is just so bizarre. Like, I don't know what it's trying to do. And it's very weird. Okay, so maces are they're kind of the same as your hammer. However, they defend against magical opponents. So if an opponent uses a lot of magic, the mace may be your go-to weapon. I also just noticed the thing I need to fix. But I do think that I do think though that when you're able to understand the code and work with it properly, you do get more out of the system. And learning how the code's logic works is important. Which is why it's good to understand code. And at the very least, coding principles. I would say as a game designer, you might not necessarily need to know how to code. But you do need to understand how code works. Which is why if you're a programmer and you don't comment on your code, understand if I ever meet you in person, I will beat you seriously. I'm kidding. That is not an actual threat. But, oh my god, when I was at college, there were some people I just wanted to like slap upside the head for not commenting their code. It's like, dude, do you understand that I have to read this? And that's something that I was like, I have become like the totalitarian of commenting code. It's like, even for my own code, even if nobody else will touch it, making good notes is so vital to knowing how it freaking works. Like, you need to know what it's doing and write that down. RPG Maker plugins, I will say, I use Yanfly plugins a lot in here, and they comment the goofy out of their stuff. They make sure you know what all variables do, what the code's job is, what it's trying to do. It is very thoroughly commented. And if you read through it, you know exactly what it's doing. And if you're not doing that for your code, you're making it harder not just for other people to read it and learn from it, but you're making it much harder for yourself to remember how you did something. Because just because you see the code doesn't mean it makes sense. Because I've written code that makes no sense when I read it back. And commenting is how you're able to make it make more sense. Hello, dude. How you doing? How's it been? Been a while since I fought you. Call necessity. Give me the keystone. Intriguing. Feburary, but intriguing. Will not be handy as keystone weights. Value far exceeds your own. May it make for a fascinating opponent. Till you inevitably fall to my arcane might. So, magic boss fight. This guy's also got new artwork. This is something that was actually, it's a work in progress version of art. But I personally really like it. I happen to really like this. I'm going to smack you with a mace, though. Magic is pretty strong, though, I will say. It is one of those things that just is inherently a strong piece. I forget, are you? Yeah, you take no damage from Earth, that's right. Ow. Item. Health potion. Yeah, I'm just gonna heal. Forgot this guy's slow as heck, though. Is their sword bent? Sort of. It was meant to be more of a, it's meant to look more like a, one of those Flambergy type swords. The ankle might be a bit strange, though, but, some swords are bent like this, though, so, like the Killage. It's a Turkish sword. I personally like the sword design, but it is also, I can see what you mean when you say, like, it's bent. I personally like how it looks, but it's also, like, I can see what you mean. Oh, I smacked him. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Excellent. All right, so because they didn't happen, I am going to mention it here. Throughout this whole time, this is something that my one friend who playtests for me will actually save the game and fight these guys over and over and over again to get every single boss in this area, and pretty much every boss in the game. They have drop items. Yeah, it was a little hard to tell, but not a big deal. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's just, it might be something to, I can tell them to adjust it later. It's okay. Save, even though, man, that save menu still makes me cringe. Gonna use a health potion so I don't die on the way over. Okay, very cool. Alrighty. Get out of here. Yeah, it is one of those things where, thankfully, this is a demo, and this is not a... Can I grab it from here? Oh, yeah, it's 2 health potions. There's a kind of accident happened here. Of course, this guy died just for reaching the box of potions. Job done. Still makes me laugh. I find that it's if you don't have fun with your own work, it's kind of hard to, like, you know, it's hard to, you know, if you don't laugh with your own jokes, like, well, what are you doing? You know, you gotta enjoy your own sense of humor too, you know. I got frostbitten. This is fine. I'll walk it off. Wah. Splash. Thank goodness. Okay. I will say those fire spirits in the base form of the game, they have this weird like chicken skull thing. I know that in some of the other whoops. I'm sure. Oh, nope, I do not get this. This is fine. But they had this weird chicken skull thing going on, and I wasn't a fan of it, so I had the artist remove it because it just doesn't look fantastic for the enemies right here. I thought it looked better when you're dealing with stronger forms of the enemy. Alright, we leveled up. Alright, so this is going... Alright, so I just remembered I gotta change that. Well, it's not a change, it's gonna be a major overhaul for things. I've had the thought recently, because the game is more oriented towards equipment than leveling up, I had two thoughts for how I'd not fix, but like adjust the game to make it better for for the system. It's either make it so that techniques, you know, things you use, the techniques you use with your weapons are tied specifically to the weapons themselves, or make it so that techniques you level up a lot more throughout the game, and by that logic, make enemies harder earlier in the game and make things, you know, make the enemies stronger in general, to make sure that I can account for them leveling up faster. Because in this demo, the level you're put at when you go to this optional area of the game is level 11, which is relatively low compared to leveling in RPGs. Even though it's kind of like, it feels like it'd be like you'd be in the 20s or 30s, it's more like, oh yeah, I'm like at level 11. It's kind of weird, right? And I feel like some of that's because the XP gain is a little strange. The curve is a little odd. But I wondered though if making techniques hook to equipment and leaving the leveling to what it is would be a wise decision, because you're already going to be changing out and trying out new equipment regularly. And by hooking techniques to equipment, it could also mean that some equipment have special techniques that make them stronger than other ones and make them more interesting uses. But I'm not sure. I'm very uncertain about that as a long-term solution. I do like it. I'm just uncertain of it in general. But I think it's just because it's such a big change that I'm like, oh, gee, that's a big change for this far in development, especially given that there's still things that need to be finished. Okay, let's see. They're not weak to any forms of magic, as I recall, so I'm just gonna have to smack them. Ow. But thankfully this is, the point of this demo is so I can get feedback and learn what needs to be fixed. Oh geez, this is a mess. A lot of bots today. I don't know what the deal is with that. But that's okay. No sense in worrying about it. I think they just like the games and demos. They like the games and demos side, I guess. There we go. But of course, I think that by hooking equipment to techniques and vice versa, it runs the risk, though, of some players not realizing it. Because of how weapons are equipped in the game, it could be very strange if you equip a weapon and suddenly you lose, like... Say you equip a new sword and it doesn't have element slash, like, wind or something. And you're planning on using it for a boss fight and you don't check. It's kind of like, oh, well, how do I... Because the system doesn't... I also... Stuff that nobody else will notice, but I will notice, and it'll bother me until the end of time. I'll fix it later. It's okay. I have to remind myself. I've had to take a few times where I'm like, this is a demo. Remember that you will be fixing this next week. Okay. Can be issues. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Just tell myself, like, hey, it's a demo, you fool. Just let it go. I think it's just because I have a very high standard for myself, and missing certain things and missing certain issues, it's kind of like, oh geez, you know, like, oh, I missed this very easy thing I could fix, and then to me it's like, oh, well, why didn't you fix it? It's like, oh well, that's okay. I think I was also kind of in a panic for this version of the game. I was definitely like, oh, get it out the door. I got to get ready. It's got to be ready. It's got to be good. And I know that was not a good state for me to be checking things and fixing things. That's certainly just something that was bound to happen. Alrighty. And now we have all 3 keystones. I will save really quick. This jank looking save menu that I don't like. These keystones, it's open. Oh. Oh. I haven't gotten to look at this yet. I actually also had I had them spruce this up a bit. Because I made a version of this myself, and it looks much better. I personally like it. It's over with. Hang. Okay, so game. Hecko, how's it going? So this is where the demo part kicks in, where it's like, fortunately, you aren't quite allowed to see that part yet. You're not quite allowed to see that part yet. So let's skip ahead to someplace different. Received word of a princess named Jolita being imprisoned at a sanatorium and trying to be a decent person. I went to the island to investigate. Leveled up over this time and gained new weaponry. So, this is where we are. Can't leave the island now. So, in the second half of the demo, you're put into an area that's higher level. You are automatically leveled to level 11 because that was the average I found with where they ended up. You also get a set of so the game's weapons are divided in behind the scenes, not in game. They're not really labeled this. They are divided in terms of tiers. All of the weapons in the Crimson Cave are tier 1. None of them have a specific trait, which I'll talk about in a moment. And those are your tier 1 equipment. This also includes the armor and the those kind of things you get. The armor and charms there, all of that stuff is tier 1. And this is all just my organization in the back. Everything goes from 1 to 7 because the weapons will generally scale from 1 on this tier of 1 to 7. Each tier has a kind of general height and depth of stats. And they are if you find a weapon of a higher tier, it'll most likely be better. Personally, I think the whip should be S tier. The whip is S tier, and I've been trying to buff it because I want it to be better. But the tier number, it's actually a numbered tier for all of the weapon types. So all of the weapons I had equipped before we left kidding. Well, I think the whip should be S tier myself too, but that's just because I like those weapons. But when you're playing through the game, if you find a weapon of a higher tier, you'll probably know because it'll generally have higher stats. And if you're just hunting for stat numbers, you'll probably be hunting for the highest level weapons. However, some of them confer special traits. The first one I can think of is a special spear called the Trishul Spear, which is a spear you can only get as a drop weapon from a certain enemy. Because pretty much every enemy in the game has a weapon they can drop, except for the stuff in tier 1, which is because I didn't want to do that. Seemed kind of weird to me to do that. But what I did want to do though was make it so that certain weapons were rewards in and of themselves. And as I was gonna say sorry, but I forgot because I saw something that made me want to fix something. Every boss in the first area of the game has a drop weapon, so it's like a 1 in 8 chance of getting it every time. So if you fight the Minotaur, you can actually get an axe. That's called the Axe of Despair. Another Yu-Gi-Oh reference for you keeping track. And you can actually get special weapons and equipment from all enemies. Past the Crimson Cave, all enemies have drop weapons. Their rates are, made a little bit rarer because you're going to be fighting those enemies a fair bit, so it's reasonable that they'll be a little bit less so. Also, so that I don't break the game's economy by giving you way too many weapons. Because if you have too much money, you can get a lot of weapons, and it can kind of make things break. So I tried to make it, and also because it makes it so that it personalizes each person's playthrough. Because when you, where the heck did I put my, oh there it is. I had my iPod somewhere. But when you're playing through the game, it's personal now because your playthrough of the game your save file suddenly becomes a catalog of all the things you were able to find on your way through. I don't know if I'd find I don't know if it'd be even possible logically to build some kind of reward for getting all 200 weapons. And yes, I did not stutter, 200. There are 200 different weapons in the game, spread across all 10 types. So for all 10 of the types, there are spread across all 10, 200. The average is 20 per weapon. Fuck the economy, they call me 1010. I see. Reasonable. Reasonable. Also weird. Might be the skunk. There's a skunk locally, it might have... Yep. Nah, we saw a skunk earlier this morning. I think it went off outside. Well, that's gonna be hard to sleep with here. How's it going, by the way, Pojin? But as you can see, we have swapped out to the adamant set is it's called tier 4. So if you're keeping track, this is like middle of the game kind of equipment. Tiers 4 and 5 kind of share the middle of the game, I will say. They are the middle of the game equipment. Tier 6 is basically end game equipment. There is and this is something I'm not gonna keep secret. I will keep secret how it is reached, but it'd be better if I had a sweet new game to play. Did you get the link to the demo? I hope that got. But the tier, there is a tier, the tier 7 weapons are specifically locked to the true ending of the game. Because the true ending of the game is basically a whole ass section of game that you kind of only reach for going that extra mile. I'm not going to say how the true ending is reached, but I will say that if you're a diligent explorer of your environment and you are willing to explore all the facets of the game, you will find it. It's just guaranteed you're going to find it. If you're going through and exploring the world and you're checking things out and you're learning the game, you will find the true ending and you'll get to see the cool stuff at the end of the game. All right, let's see. Also, I will not say how this happens. You're not supposed to be here. Oh, that's okay. Nobody's gonna care if this is... It's fine. If anybody needs the link to the demo, though, let me know. I will pop over to it in there. I did not receive the link, but I found your page on itch.io, so I need to refresh the page and the game should be there. Yes, it should be. The link should be there, I believe, unless something went horribly wrong. Let's see. So this is the weapons we have. As you can see, some of these weapons get astronomical with their attack bonuses. Like the gauntlets that absolutely kill your defense, too. The weapons, also, this is something that happens with weapons after tier 1. All weapons, whether they're subtracting or adding, they also now confer a percentage bonus. So along with being stronger in general than your tier 1 stuff, all of your weapons past the first set of weapons you get will also scale with your character's base stats. So what that means is, in theory, you could play the game with just your tier 2 weapons. And, like, you get, like, the first set of weapons outside of, like, it's called Black Steel, is the tier 2 stuff. You basically, the first set of weapons you can buy out the gate. If you decided to, you could do a whole playthrough with them, and the weapons would grow with you. And that'd be totally fine. But the higher level weapons scale higher. Conversely, though, the weapons that subtract from your stats will subtract more as you go, because the scaler also reduces your stats by a scaler as well, so... It is to make it so that the weapons confer more extreme stat bonuses and detriments. So that you're probably going to find a build you like, and maybe you know, use that build in a certain way. I think the 3 archetypical builds for this game, to me, are your swordsman, which I think the swordsman is if you're using the, like, longsword, bow, and probably the gauntlets. Because they're very aggressive fighting stuff, and those are your 3 damage types. The mage is probably gonna be a lot focused on the sling. And the paladin is gonna be using Warhammer and mace almost exclusively. I think Cavalier though, like there's a lot of different like three weapon combos for weapon combinations. Generally, to me, I always play like choose a piercing weapon, a bludgeoning weapon, and a slashing weapon, and that's how I make a build in this game. The armor flavors that by giving you higher defense or higher like extreme defense with lower speed, or extreme speed, because there is stuff like Thieves armor that gives you higher agility, but at the expense of like having kind of crap defense by comparison. And you can make, you know, various builds and try out different things. My favorite thing is using the whip and longsword and bouncing between those while using magic, because I find that stuff to be personally interesting. But I think it's also because the spell sword archetype for me is my favorite in fantasy. So, all right, let's continue to the second half of the demo. As you can see, the assets have been adjusted here as well. This area, so fun fact about this area, in the full game, you will be able to reach this area optionally. This is not a required area at all. This entire area is optional. I built it specifically for this demo. I added a whole optional area to the game with the intent of it being used for the demo, because it's fully landlocked and separate from the rest of the game, which made it far easier to place it someplace outside of the game's play area. Find a dagger outside of a medical building. I believe the Crochet dagger is just stronger. Got higher speed, which I prefer more, so that's fine. I want to use it. What does it do again, by the way? No, it does something. Raises experience gained from battle if equipped at the end of the battle. Oh, so this is also part of this. Weapons and abilities that increase experience need to be on your person on the last action. So you need to kill the last opponent with your dagger. So, good to know. Also, these are blocked off by the trees because people go... Ah. I just realized that's on player touch. Need to fix that. I don't know how that happened. Oh, hi. How are you? I remember. Hi there. I'm named Jolita. Do I look like a doctor to you? Yeah. Yeah. I do reside here, though. In the stupid hat and the crazy in the eyes. I don't know why I bothered to ask. I laugh at my own jokes, but it's because I tried to write a main character who's like somewhere between being kind of serious and kind of a dork. This character, the adventurer, as I refer to them, they are honestly probably they're somewhere between a total dork and a complete badass, and I kind of like that. I don't know, it's fun for me. I know Jolita. To the top of the castle now. Well, I know you're already mad, but just tell me where she is. Go up myself. Come, little ear. I'll show you. Find me in the tea room upstairs. No, you will hear your life. Wham! Running away. I'm running away. This house is, given this is a house with a mental ill and the air smells like death, I guess to say this is crazy. Oh. Probably the top floor. Better deal with this problem now that I'm here. Now then. Right. I do know, just so I can show some people some cool. There's all these cells. Weird stuff going on here. Tell you what. Well. Oh, God bless America. I didn't want to run into you right now. Hi. Yep. Mythos Arcanus, yep, you're here. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? So to let people know something, I actually changed this character for now in code because I don't have a gnome asset yet for this opponent. So I changed it into a magical enemy called Mythos Arcanus. Owl Peacock? Kinda? It's very weird. But I decided, just make a hallucinogenic bird. Why not? And it's like, yeah, this is fine. Let's use Force Sphere. That does nothing. Oh, that's right. These guys have high. These guys have high evasion. Originally, these enemies were they're built to be gnomes. When I can't... Okay, it's dead. Thank goodness. So that enemy was originally designed to have a gnome art. I don't have it yet. And also, I'm kind of tempted to swap it out because honestly, I don't feel like making my artist make too many things. Even though a gnome shouldn't be that bad, but I'm also like, no. I can ask for less. So if let me see did I get anything? No. The whole point of those enemies though is that they're super rare and annoying as heck to hit. That's your relic I read about once. One of many implements attempt to be the greatest of all time. Shadow Boxer Gauntlets. Grants additional experience. I forgot that the experience stuff was here. I don't know why I did that, but I don't know what it was with this area. I just put a lot of the experience gain stuff, which it does increase it by a fair amount actually. So it is actually pretty substantial. And up the stairs we go. Oh yeah, that's reassuring. Statue of a demon inside of this place. Yes. Alchemist bag. Well, still taking this. You have money now. It's so good. I do like the. I don't know. I think my goal is to make this character not exactly like making people like them, but I want to make this character interesting for people to see. You know, I want to make it so that you're stuck with this character the whole game. They better be likable, you know. Also, this character's art might change by the end. The Dark Hypnotist, mainly because it's not supposed to be a vampire, but it's what it is right now. Oh yeah, you use wind magic. Ow. I think I'll use the mace then. Oh no! Please don't succeed. Ah. Oh, I got put to sleep. That's difficult. Ow. Wait, it's okay. I sent the link to a dozen friends of mine now. Oh. 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 Poja, that's very kind of you. Oh my goodness. Oh. Ah. And I'm not saying this to downgrade, to belittle the work. I will say this demo definitely speaks of work in progress, which not a bad thing. Just something that I recognize, you know? It's like, I do appreciate it, though, because I think the feedback will be important. Not necessarily for the aesthetics of it, because some cutscenes are a little bit broken. I told you I would. I know you did, but it's like, it's still like, oh. The reality of the situation is hitting me, you know? Still strikes me, you know? I might make healing potions more expensive, because I think that they're a whip with mercurial steel on it. Magically poisonous smell that messes with the mind. The place definitely was being run with morals and ethics. I'm definitely equipping that though, because I like that whip. Very good. Tell them all if they want to stream it, they could. I would appreciate having the word out, and if people do find that there's issue with it, I find that better, because then if I get a lot of feedback, then I'll know what to improve on for later. It's almost more of a litmus test to make sure that people like where it's going. Because when I've been playing through this demo, the thing I have noted is that while it's rough a bit around the edges, I think that this is more or less what the gameplay is going to look like by the end. It's just a matter of, do people like this gameplay? And that's going to be important to me as going forward. Ow. Okay, I think I have at this point the, do I have any more of this? No. But I hope that people find this to be a fun experience. I really hope I don't die right now. Actually, I'm gonna escape. I'm gonna play it safe. Let's see. Because I know where the boss is. I just wanted to fight a little bit. I know the end of the demo is here, so it's like I just didn't want to. My retro streamer friend seems excited for it. We agreed it has an early Final Fantasy feel to it. That's kind of what I was shooting for, because I recognized, well, the kind of game I like is playing. I really like those. I really like very RPG feel RPGs. You know, the ones where it's like you level up, you gather new equipment, you're fighting enemies, like, you know, turn-based combat, and it's really focused in on, you know, action economy and the fun of that feeling of growth. And it's like what I hope this demo does is highlight. I also wrote down some notes already of things I need to fix. Jimmy, hi, have a good shoot today. I got work tomorrow, so I'm gonna go to bed. Hey, it's nice to see you, and thank you for stopping by. Make sure you get some good sleep. I hope that you don't get woken up by anything, because that would be uncomfortable. It always sucks when it's like you go to bed and it's like, ugh. I'm procrastinating a little bit because this is the end of the demo. Hello. Hello, Kane. How are you doing? Oh, that's Julita. Well, no sense of waiting on this. Yes, I'm the court mage. I'm a master of magic. Prepare for battle. I am ready to fight. I'm gonna kill you, yeah. What? No, I'm the wizard. You're a hero. You're supposed to take me to authorities, send me to prison. Heroes don't kill. And then this guy. Yeah, I work early tomorrow, so I need to sleep. Hope people enjoy the game. Oh, thanks, Shibby. I hope that people like this too. I hope that people find a lot of fun to it. And this is the newest boss theme. Peace. All right, see ya. This is the newest boss theme I wrote. I won't hesitate, bitch. I wrote this. That is basically this entire dude's ethic. Is I'm not. It's like, oh, it's like, are you a horrible person? Yes. All right, you're not gonna leave here alive then. It's like, all right, time to die then. Time to beat this man within an inch of his life. Wait, can I use techniques yet? Oh, I can next turn. Heck yes. I won't hesitate, bitch. Gun. We have new techniques. I should probably use them. Also, I'll let you guys experiment with this in the demo. You do get to one each of the weapons abilities. I'm gonna use Twin Snake Crack, because I like it a lot. Oh my god! I didn't realize how much that was gonna do. Oh my god, he's dead. I just deleted him. This is not where the journey ends. This is where your time with it will now keep... Oh yeah, so this is the post-demo thing I wrote up. Just because I wanted to do something special with it. There are some things that are, iffy with the game right now. Things that need to get fixed. But this is where the demo ends. Fox with the Glasses gave you some things to say now that you're... I feel like this is going to be the bit where any streamer playing this is going to get a little laugh out of this. I basically gave the main character instructions on what to read when they got to the end of the demo. I wrote this on purpose, 100%. Firstly, please find the survey in the credits page and click on the text to go and fill that out. Needs to know if you had fun, I guess. Second, you should check his itch.io page for updates and for links to his Twitter and Twitch, whatever those are. Well, this is much of the stories I'm recounting anyway. Let's go make sure this fox doesn't lose any more marbles. This is indeed where the demo ends. Hope you enjoyed. This is where the demo ends. This is where the demo of the game ends. So yeah. It's funny because when I wrote this, I was like, oh yeah, is this gonna be a little too like Shakespearean? I'm going to like characters stepping out, like doing the monologue to the audience kind of thing. I'm like, no, this is fun. This is funny. People like this. And also it's a way for me to end the demo that's a little bit more natural than just, all right, demo's over. Here you go. Game's up. All right. You're done playing. Put the controller down. You're done. So what I learned playing the demo myself, actually what I'll do is also to show the credits off. This is what the credits look like right now. They need to get fixed a lot. It looks really gross. I need to fix it. I don't know why it's like this, so I gotta fix this. Oh. Yep. So it will pop. If you click on that, it does actually pop open a window, so be aware of that. This actually takes you to my Twitch, which is... These go to all their various links. These two go to the links for their plugins and stuff. This one's from the DLC. I need to fix this. I need to fix the credits because they are not displaying properly. That is something, though, that this is the reason why I made this demo, though. It really needs a credit system. I think it's nice because it lets you have URLs linked in. So if you want to have it linked into something, you can have it hooked up to something and take you somewhere else. That's because JavaScript works really well with websites, and that's why it works really well for this kind of stuff. So to kind of put down the point of it, I recognize pretty well that this demo is a little rough. Things that I recognize right away, most of it is menus. I think the UI is the piece that is kind of the most janky. That is something that, as the designer, I'm fixing it. I'm going to fix that up because I don't like how it looks. This especially, I might need to just adjust the font size of the credits, which is something I think I can do relatively easily. But I'm also unsure. I have to find out. So, You know what? Actually? I know that I said this is going to be the demo, and I was thinking about playing the demo a second time, but some of these issues I kind of want to fix now, and it's kind of getting under my skin. And some of these issues I actually do want to fix right now. So, if you guys would indulge me, would it be okay if I set up my own music to play, and I go and fix this myself? Because I'm kind of like mentally like, oh no, this needs to get fixed right now. Like it's kind of like, do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that because it's like getting under my skin. Hang on, let me set up the screen blocker for now. Let me really quickly find. I'm gonna set up. I'll set up Windows Media Player to play something. Where's my albums? Where are my albums? I always forget where it is. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's music score. Music battle. Music stuff. Let's do Feburary. You for now. Shameless self-plug. This is music I've written. This is all gonna be stuff I've done. Just because it's a little easier for me to listen to. Nowadays, at least. Okay, good. That's at a reasonable volume for me. Your stream, I shall indulge anything. Ah, yes. That is reasonable. But I do think that... I think I will, so I will... Let me open Steam. I'm gonna fix this right now, because I'm like, no. This is... Some of these issues from the demo, I'm like, no, I gotta go fix this right now. So I have my issues. I have my issues list, so let me go see if I can fix it. Okay. I'm gonna... Let's see, change this out to a display. Change this to a display. Aim. App. Wah. Also, I don't have to worry about ads when, I do have some new DLC for that. Oh god, that looks really trashy. I forgot how this looks like. Oh good lord. I forgot that this monitor is insane. Okay, hang on. Remove this from... This is gonna look jank in the stream window for a moment, but it's okay. Display capture. That is not what I wanted. Not the TV. Oh my god, it's so big. Why? App. Wah. Hang on. Wait. Is it... Why? Why is... need to adjust this. It's 15 by 15? Sort of. That'll do. Now. Okay. Maybe it'll look good. Just maybe. Wrong way. Yeah, it's poking out the bottom. You know, I'll just leave them. It's fine. Just suffer. It's okay. Pain hurt a tiny bit. Close enough to the... Good enough. I'm gonna change the title of stream really quick. So I can talk about the fact that it is also fixing... Actually, no, it's and discussion. This works. Also, why the heck did the music stop? Why are you like this? I shuffle all. Thank you. Good, it's all of my stuff ever. Now I can think about how I could have improved it. Okay, let's see. Save menu. Okay. So, let's see. Plugin man. Where is it? Save core. You. Why are you like this? Why? What are you doing? Let me enlarge this for you guys so you can read. I cannot enlarge this. Why? Meh. Can you guys read this well? I hope that you guys can read it well, because I can read it, but I'm also like, ugh. I don't want to, like... Trouble I have is trying to make this look better. I think I know how I can do it. Hang on. Yeah, okay, no, I'm a fool. Hang on. Hang on. That's marginally better. There we go. Some stuff is off screen. It's kind of okay. Now transform. I have to do on-stream adjustment. It always makes you uncomfortable. Cookie. There we go. Good enough. Okay. Now I feel better. Okay. Glad I made it through a full demo. Remember how to go. This is fun. Hey, thank you, and thank you for stopping by. Hopefully, I'll be able to fix the issues that were present in the demo, so I can, you know, feel better. Okay. Now, why was it showing the playtime, gold count, save? Okay, why was it showing all those variables though? Max files 24 saved icon, empty saving, auto new index. Why was it showing a bunch of variables though? Data column. Why was it showing a bunch of stuff? Why? Because that was a bunch of variables in that in the save files. Because the save core looked, I think the menu looked fine. I just didn't like what it put down. Okay, you. Okay, you know what? I'm okay with the location. I just need... That does mean, though, that for later, I'm gonna need to do, That does mean I'm going to have to go through every map and add location names. Which is fine by me, but it's also like, oh, geez, that's a lot. Get rid of all that. This is fine. I think this is good. Variable X. Yeah, because it has all the variables, and it's like, that's not helpful. Save modes. Technical pictures. The rest of this is... I think the rest of it was fine. But I think that the save... How it did some of the saving was really awkward. So I'm gonna... I think that I'll consider that fixed for now, but... That's okay. Let's see. Like that. Okay. So, for those who are unfamiliar with RPG Maker, generally you're working in two layers. You have the event layer, and there's the map layer. The map layer is where you draw stuff. Right? I'm gonna down. At least for me. Oh, Steel Hearts. I haven't heard you in a long time. I haven't heard this song since it came out, which is surprising to me because I don't know, it just... I think it's one of those ones that I think is underrated, but that's just because I wrote it. I don't know. Let's see. So the map layer, what I was saying, the map layer, you can take tile sets up here and apply them to the map as literally painting them down with a brush, as it were. The event layer is how we do coding. And the RPG Maker does simplify the coding of it very, very well. Let's use this for an example. I wish I could make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? No. So this is doing a lot of stuff. If it's legible, please let me know. If it's illegible, please let me know. I'll stop trying to read these. But the this is the event that was handling you getting the dagger. So the first thing it does this, where it actually will spin the little effect here, the little light effect that shows where it is, and then this self switch is what gets rid of the item, its presence on the map. And this is done because it uses event pages, and it's very weird looking, and I wish I could explain it better. I have to take time to explain it from the top down, where if you take these event pages and you put them in a row, one to like 3 or something, it will read the third one first. If it doesn't have the variables on, like if this isn't on, it won't do anything on this page. It's not illegible, but it's pretty small and hard to read. Jeez. Let me make this a little bit bigger then, maybe. There are some things on the overlay that I could probably get rid of. Hang on. Or like the menu. Hang on. You know what? I could just zoom it in more. And honestly, that'd be fine. I'm trying to figure out how to do this properly. Oh, you know what I could do? Hang on. I don't think you guys need to necessarily know the map names per se. That's better already. Okay. I think I'll leave it like this for now. I think maybe make it a little bit bigger. Like this. There we go. Is that about better? I hope that is. I have not had to stream RPG Maker in a while, and it's very awkward. But that's yeah, there's a little bit of space on screen that's off there, but that's okay. I tend to focus in on the center of the screen anyway, so it's okay. So these so like say we show text. Oh whoops. Let me edit this. This is the text box that says looks good enough to use for the dagger. So when we grab the dagger in the demo, this is how it shows the text of the screen and knows to send it when you read it. The reason why it says if character gender equals 0, your character's gender is actually handled by a variable of 0 and 1. That's because I did there's the male and female variants, so that's why we have the female version of the character. Every single piece of dialogue the character says is handled by this, and a similar system where basically it just checks which gender your character's supposed to be and puts the right images up. And it does that for all things. Every weapon has something like that. Okay, so let's see. For next thing I need to fix, let's see. M defense. I think magic defense is fine. I said something about like magic defense being kind of low, but I think it's okay. Do you guys think? I think I'll wait on stat changes until the demo's results come back. So if we look at, it's playing Jade Observatory. This is I guess fun fact, the music that's playing right now is this is the music that's in the trailer, that's in the channel trailer I have. This one I'm actually proud of. I like this one a lot. This one makes me happy. It kind of reminds me of Garrick Mock's music a little bit. I think it's just because of the those. I think it's just that's why. So this is actually what I look at when it comes to the character's stats. So when you're making a character in RPG Maker, there is a curve. So you start at level 1 with the first stat, and then you take your last stat. So say you hit level 99, it goes up to 150. And then it generates a curve based on how you generate the curve. You know, if you generate the curve, it has growth types. So you can actually see, if you hold the mouse down, you can see where it'll be at any given level. I personally think the game might need to... I think leveling up might need to happen faster. But I actually wonder if the leveling up at the beginning is fine. Because I think being level 5 leaving here is just fine. I think it's just the leveling up going forward that should be better. But I'm uncertain how to handle that yet. Mainly just because adjusting the leveling right now would be kind of hard. Which is why I was thinking earlier... That's why I was talking about swapping it so that techniques and even some spells are only available by having higher tier weapons, or, you know, just by having... I think just techniques being it and leveling up gets you more spells would be better. Otherwise, making it so that enemies rapidly... Like, there's these interim enemies that rapidly level you up so you can be high level for the next area would be good. The trouble is that it runs the risk that, say you do all of the optional places, because there are... Let's see, there are... 4 optional... Like, 4 whole areas of the game that are technically optional for finishing the game. If you go through and do all those, and you're like way higher level than, you know, like than what's presumed, you might crush the rest of the game. So it is kind of something I've considered of, like, maybe leveling up should be the lower priority to getting new equipment, and making it so that weapons confer new techniques would be a good idea. So that's something I've been considering as a retooling for it, which wouldn't take too much more work on my end, because it would just be adding techniques to every weapon. Which, this is not hyperbole. 200 weapons. There, it is not a meme. It's real. And I believe at this point, about 150, like 125, 150 of them are implemented. I think the majority of the weapons are available to be gained in the full game already. So, okay, let me get to the... I need to get to fixing the rest of the stuff. Oh, the music fade out. That's right. In the dungeon. Ah, yes, this one. You. Yes. Fade out BGS. It does that, but it doesn't fade out BGM. Yep. That's a rookie mistake. I've been doing this whole time. Wah. That's all right. It's honestly, the fact that I missed such a goofy little mix, I honestly thought it was amusing, because of course, of all the things I could miss, it would be the smallest little detail, right? And it's of course a small detail like that that I would miss. Ugh, been talking all night. Ooh. Yeah. Throat's a little dry. So, to let you guys know why this was a problem, the music was playing in an area where enemies could attack, and I did not fix that. And it does bother me a little bit, because I didn't... That was something that I've been trying to maintain as a very rigid rule, that music will only be playing in 2 places. In a battle, or if you're in a place that you cannot have random encounters. And that's something I was trying to really hammer in. And that does make me upset that there's an area of the game now, which is funny because after you beat the demon spider boss fight in the basement, in like that area, that spider actually fixes the problem when you beat it, because the music gets reset to none. So a little silly on my part, but that's okay. Oh, apologies. Oh, jeez, I didn't want to burp like that. I drank my water too fast. Yeah. Okay, so we fixed the problem though, so that's good. I might want to change the streams category though. I don't know, is there a game design one? Is there a game design category? Game design? No. Game development? I guess this will do. But for anybody new coming in, I will say that we have played through the demo at this point, but we have played through the demo of Red Genie. I am actually going through and spot fixing bugs that I accidentally... Hey Timmy, how's it been? It's been a little while. But I'm actually spot fixing some of the issues that I saw in the game itself that I was like, no, I need to fix these with the demo. Because I saw them, they were issues in the demo, and I was like, oh no, I gotta go fix this. Good, thanks. You, how about you? I'm doing good. I will say I feel a lot better with the demo out the door right now. I need to fix the spacing of the enemies in that. So, how RPG Maker handles enemies is actually really cool, I think. So you design the enemies individually. So you design an enemy like, let's say the Mystic Ball. So, and yes, this will let you know their abilities, and I'm fine with that. This enemy's in the beginning of the game, so I'm not that worried with you guys seeing stats for them. Honestly, if you play the demo, you could probably get a good feel for a lot of the stuff you see here. But the key is that with every enemy, oh, I know about RPG Maker. I just never use it personally. Yes, I am. Yeah, Timmy, you caught me while I was explaining stuff. It's pretty cool though. I've had a lot of fun with this. For those who don't know, RPG Maker also, like, the enemies that you fight follow the same rules you do. The difference though is that with the plugins I do have, there is a thing called AI level where I can actually program the enemies to have smarter usage of their abilities. So if you have status, like, you can take more damage from certain abilities, they'll figure it out over time, and they'll actually pull the smarter moves based on their AI level. The lower their AI level, though, the less likely you can predict their movements. And I haven't heard this one in a long time. This one again? This is Cleopatra. Might turn that down a little bit, but man, sorry, I'm waxing nostalgic because I wrote this like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. But as you can see, there's a priority. So when I design an enemy, generally I try to make it so that they can use a mixture of attacks in battle. For example, the Mystic Ball can use Fire, Frost, and Spark. So say it, so the most commonly it'll use Fire if it's following to the letter its ability stats. Then followed by Waiting, which is just doing nothing, and Frost. I actually have also been trying to make it so every enemy has the stat, like their element rate, which basically affects how much damage they can take from an attack. So say you hit this thing with fire, it will do 33% of the damage after it calculates the damage. So it'll run through the formula of how to calculate damage, and then after it runs that, it will then say, okay, now multiply it by 33%. And then it'll take that 33%, apply it. Conversely, say, that's why I was using the hammer against the Mystic Ball when I played the demo, is because it doubles the damage if you hit him with a 200%. There is a damage type on here that we did not talk about much in the demo, and that is force damage. That is because force damage is actually weird. Force damage is not exactly a damage type that makes a ton of sense. And that's because it's a damage type that, when you get the spells that use force damage, you'll probably realize that they do a very strange amount of damage. And that's because they do damage based on the maximum HP of the target. It's kind of like Gravity in Kingdom Hearts, for those who played. And they also can do they also bypass most defenses. However, Mystic Ball takes no force damage, so the thing that you probably wouldn't see very often. In fact, actually, I think, what is it? Who is it? Most enemies don't actually take... Oh, you haven't changed art yet. You need to change this art back to the one that's in the demo. Bah, the demo is already done. Is already good. Is really good. I'm having a lot of fun. Oh, that's good to hear, Viceroy. I'm happy that you're having fun. Oh, I'm actually doing a Viceroy. It's a little weird of me, but I'm already going ahead and doing. I'm spot fixing a bunch of the issues I saw in game. Because I was like, oh wait a minute, I need to fix this stuff. Already got some feedback to share with you. Ah, excellent. I do know if you've hit the same notes that we hit today in stream, I will laugh because it tells me that, yeah, this is absolutely something I needed to check. Oh, I was here talking about enemies because I needed to go into the troops section. So I just jumped on stream, just got to the first cave. Ah, excellent. We're actually talking about this area. This is some stuff I need to fix. Let's see. So the Mystic Ball enemy right here. I need to adjust their spacing. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right. No, that's good. Because I want to make sure that the spacing is good. I also need to adjust the font size. I feel like I'm going to change the font size of the game because it's very strange. I'm not going to lie. It just... my brain just realized what I was listening to, and I was like, oh god. So for those who... I'm going to mute the tab so you still get viewership, but don't want to spoils while playing the demo. Ah, very good. Well, thank you for lurking it up, by the way. That's very kind of you. I hope you have fun, though. Have fun! I'm fixing stuff. But the spacing for these enemies was a little awkward, so I needed to fix it. This is, ODaM does not know how to write motifs very well. I'm making fun of myself just because it's easy for me. When you've worked on enough stuff, your brain just goes like, oh yeah, you can poke fun at the work that wasn't quite there yet. Need to adjust the spacing for the enemies. Need to raise these guys up a little bit too, because they were a little bit low on screen from what I could see. This was okay. Fly. Go. Music and area will start. What? Mage's area was. Oh, I remember that wall. That wall. I know what I'm looking at. There's a wall that I need to go look at. Let's see. You. Oh, I see also. A little bit. Here. One thing I did notice also was there's a shadow here. This is entirely a detail that I only caught because I've trained my eyes to catch these things, because there is, quite frankly, enough times where I've missed something like this, where it frustrated me, was the shadows. So RPG Maker automatically generates shadows, and will set up it does these shading here, and I missed these two because it's supposed to be, if I go to this map here, scroll down a little bit, it's supposed to connect to this area up here, and it's supposed to be a continuation of the area, and I missed that little detail there, and it got to me. It's one of those things where I'm like, bleh. And it's actually something that I tried to maintain throughout the entire game. This needs to fix like that. Where if you're actually watching the okay, actually I need to add a detail here because there's something here I want to add. Let me go grab it from another map really quick though. Yeah. No worries about spoilers here. This is an area of the game. Where the heck? Where? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I need to grab from somewhere else. Hang on. Oh. None of this will make sense to you guys, so it's okay. Sure. Actually, no. Well, I need that other one anyway. Well, that's frustrating. Okay, let me grab the events really quick. Well, actually, grab this really quick. Here. Oh man, I wrote that theme to honor my first novel, and man, it was I make fun of it, but it was good. It was fine. It just my ability to write music has gotten far better since I started. Okay, so it needs to be like. So I will show you guys what I'm doing here once I've set it up, so I can. Okay, so what I've been doing is there's a detail with this running water that I kind of wanted to fix. Let me show you guys what I mean. Starting position. Please. Being so weird. Do I have to set it? Yeah. I don't know why it's being weird. Why is it being so weird? I'll just have to grab from the... That's really cool. You. For some reason, it's being weird about me moving the starting position. Save changes. Okay. So I can show you guys. So whenever I hit playtest with this, it actually lets me turn the game. It lets me play the game from its current settings. Hopefully it'll run because it's being... Oh, it started over there. Hang on. So it's running the demo, you know, it's doing this. My version always has the volume muted so I can check things. So as you can see in the smaller demo here, this water is now running and also has this splashies at the bottom, which I neglected to do so earlier. And I feel like it's important for me to... I thought it was important enough that I was like, no, that should be a detail that's there. Okay. That should have gotten rid of it over here. Does the bird flies? Yes. You can only have, per project, only one player starting position. So that's pretty good. Okay. Rivers are good. I need to... Here really quick. Apologize for jumping around a lot. I'm just trying to make sure I fix this stuff as intended. Because these are supposed to be kind of like waterfall-y type things where it's the water's running and it's more of like a kind of like a silent kind of river thing, but there is still a place where it, you know, it splashes down as it's going downwards. It has to have that detail. And I know it's such a small thing, but it does it gets to me, so I do need to adjust it accordingly. Now I need to find... This was a minor gripe that I only caught during the playthrough. This needs to be, you activate the door with your... by pressing the action button rather than player touch. This is something that I accidentally did. This is something that happens a lot when you make quick events. Is if I make a door like this, it will sometimes do that. And that could be a little frustrating. But it's mostly just something that I have to remember, and sometimes I forget, and it happens. I am going to turn this guy's speed down because he was absolutely cruising when he left the area. Let's make him... Because he, like, disappeared the moment that happened. That was really funny. It was actually pretty good. His speed is good. Let's see. Do not need to adjust magic defense, because it's okay. Players touch door. That is wrong. That is good. Fix. Spider cutscene and the credits. Okay. Ooh, plugin manager. I believe it'd be under the credits page. Actually, no. You know what? It probably would be. Message core. Maybe it'd just be under core. A lot of this stuff is where I'm like, yeah, the plugins do a lot of crazy stuff, so I have to learn how to adjust them properly. Font size. Why don't I adjust the font size to 20? I think having it just like a little bit smaller will be just right. I think. Maybe 27. I think it's just because it's just a little too big for a lot of the menus, so I need to like make it a little bit smaller. I don't want to make it so small that it's illegible though, so that's something I have to play test a fair bit. I will have to adjust that later. I will also adjust the credits anyway because I need to shorthand the verbiage. Let's see. Don't really need to have lead game designer. There's only one. Not exactly a thing you need to do. Designer. Creator and composer. That's much easier. I think I'll do just adjust it a little bit. It's just easier to read all that stuff otherwise. I can get rid of the work in progress thing now. I do not need that anymore. Okay, let's see. I think we've just about fixed up a lot of the stuff that was kind of messy, I think. So, to talk about what I learned from the demo was that I have definitely learned from my own perspective that there is still a fair bit of work I need to do in refining the game, along with just getting it finished. Because I think what I could do reasonably is, once the game is scripted out and planned out and everything's built properly, from there, I personally believe that I could very easily use the variables and properties of the game and do overhead balance work much quicker than trying to specifically, say, target pinpoint each area and fix it. Because once the areas are designed and everything is generally set up, a lot of it comes from adjusting the numbers so it works well. And that's what I think I've learned the most from this, is that I should probably, for going forward, design the game specifically to be easier to adjust and edit on the fly, which a lot of it already is, especially with how the variables are set up with RPG Maker. So it is definitely not something that's going to be difficult, just something I have to I have to just, build around. I haven't heard Alkaline. I feel like these streams also get me a little nostalgic because I'm usually working with or listening to my own music. And writing music has become... I think the music is something that I'm going to focus on with this game, because I think that writing good music is like an invaluable resource for a video game. Because you can have a fantastically built video game, but if the soundtrack doesn't do anything to lift that game higher, I almost think that it does the game a disservice, And that can be really hard to... It can almost be a hard sell, right? Where if a game's soundtrack is okay or grading, so writing a good soundtrack can really lift it. I also think it's because I'm playing to my skills, because the things I'm best at are designing the game, the game's mechanics and its core, and the other two things I'm good at are writing stories and writing music. Those are my two other selling points. So if I really put down those skills and do my best in those areas, I think that where the game has faults might be able to hold them up, right? But I do wonder, though, if some parts of this game might be a hard sell. Because I think some people might find this to be too too gamey, too RPG-ish. Alrighty. I do need to fix one more thing, and that was the spider's cutscene. Also, this spider, his artwork isn't finalized, so he's not quite there yet. Also, for some reason... Oh, his direction fix. See if I can't make this work. Let's see. Now, this is where it had problems, so it's right here. Cut this in half. Let's see. Or 1, 2. This is what I kind of want it to be, is that... Let's see. So it's 1, 2... So I should explain what I'm doing. I think it's just because my brain is like, okay, go just work. But what's happening here is that when he's moving, his movement route was broken. So when you saw in the demo, what you saw was that the spider's side, the entity was he went clean through the player, which is not what was supposed to happen. But what I wanted to have happen was that he would move a set number of tiles, and then, the fight would start. At this point, he would be moving 6, so it'd be 1, 2... He's like, what, 2 size, I think? Yeah, he's like 2 tiles tall. Mind you, this asset is not going to be final. I have had the thought that in the overworld, demon enemies are represented by... Though that is topical. Xantanos is That song Xantanos actually shares a name with one of the weapons in the game. That's cool. So right now he's moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he needs to move down 2 more. 1, 2. So right there. So it was right the first time. I just overcorrected. That's my bad. I think 7's good. What I can do though is find out. Whoops. For some reason on this monitor, it's very weird about me doing certain things. So these pop-up menus are very weird. Let's test it and see how it looks, shall we? Let me pause this for a minute. Just because I know there's music in this game. So we're gonna check this really quick. This is generally how it works when I'm testing new cutscenes, by the way. Whenever I'm testing new cutscenes, this is generally how it works, is that I set my starting position right, like where the cutscene is, and then I start the cutscene, I watch it go through, I see the blocking, I read the dialogue, and then once it's done, I go back through and make my adjustments. Let's see how this one looks. Let me put it here-ish. Okay. Up. Okay. Let's see the cutscene in action. Okay. All right. Well, all this is good. Oh, the sounds are off. That's right. Okay. 7 doesn't seem like enough. I don't think so. I think 8 was like the exact thing I needed, and I think I had it down the first time I did it. 1, 2. Yeah. Ugh. I had it right the first time. Well, that's an overcorrection on my part. Ah, well. Sometimes you correct things in game and you overcorrect when you're working on it. And I feel like this is just a classic example of an overcorrection, where I made a correction to I thought I would be a good correction to the game, and then it ended up being something that actually was worse. So, well, that's okay. Sometimes that does happen, of course. So, and the fact that I can change it very easily is really helpful. I think that being able to run it through again is very good. I will set this back up. Oh, I will explain this just because I think it's something that I'm personally proud of for the explanation. When you're starting the game, you technically start in this black map up there, like that little space of black right there. That is where you start the game. When the game loads up, it goes through this script of letting you choose your character, and deciding whether or not and asking, have you played the game before, and doing all that. And if you've funny thing about this, if you select tutorial complete, it actually removes a bunch of things from the game that would be on if the tutorial is on. Otherwise, the tutorial, I believe the tutorial completes somewhere else, but essentially when you play through it, a tutorial is active. It will decide the whole tutorial thing at the beginning of the game. So it's actually kind of fun. It's pretty cool. It's how I designed this part, because I wanted to make sure this was from the beginning. I wanted the main character called the Adventurer. I wanted them to always be both genders, basically. I wanted them to be I wanted it to always be available to play either male or female, because I think people enjoy that stuff when it's a character like this. You do not get to choose their name though. That is because they have a specific backstory, and that their story is closely tied to other stuff I've done, in a sense. So I did want to leave it. I wanted to make sure that their canon names are there, kind of like how there's a canon name for Byleth or like your Final Fantasy, your like some certain other characters where you can name them. They have a canon name, and it's like now, and people often refer to them by that name. But generally, the main character is referred to as the Adventurer. So whichever one you wish to go by, either calling them Corvin or Raven based on your which choice you make, or calling them the Adventurer, that's up to you. They do change titles midway through the game, but it's a different thing. Here's the prologue cutscene, all controlled by this old man. It runs it automatically. Also, fun fact: all of the switches that control the how the game continues later is done here. Also, I use a variable, which is For the prologue cutscene, the drink disappearing and moving away. It's between A and B. It's just literally like, oh yeah, if the number is higher, control the switch and get rid of it. And I did that on purpose because it's what's this one again? Greenvale Highway. Oh, love this one. Unless this one. Oh. There are some times where I listen to my old stuff and I'm like, oh. I need to do some moderator stuff. Oh, apologies. One moment. Okay. All right. I had to fix some stuff there. Meh. Alrighty. Alright. Stuff fixed. Very good. Alrighty. Whew. Okay. So, what else needs to get done? Well, the rest of the stuff I need to do, actually, I just realized a lot of the stuff I need to do right now would be spoilery for everybody. So, what do you guys think we should do? Because I'm kind of did what I needed to do. I kind of fixed the problems that needed to be fixed. So now I'm kind of I can't really quite do more work right now, and it'd be a little bit amiss to try and do some other stuff, so... Bit uncertain what to do right now. Do you guys want me to play through the demo again, this time without the tutorial, or do you guys wish to, you want me to play something else? Kind of up to me. It's like I know it's up to me, but it's also like I feel like at this point I don't know what else I should explore. What the heck? What is this one? Super Quantum. I don't remember that one very well. It got the crap out of me. It scared the crap out of me. It's just like, whoa. But I just mostly like I think I've picked up what I need from the demo personally. But that's also because I tend to, whenever I'm playing through the game myself, it usually only takes me 1 or 2 playthroughs to see what needs to be adjusted. Specifically because a lot of times the issues are not, they're more obvious than just like, oh yeah, it's just like, oh, it's a minor tweak here. It's mostly like, okay, here's a big thing I need to adjust. So, God, I need to actually play this on a real guitar next time. Kind of sounds like Sonic music. I need to work on more guitar stuff. I know that I have plans for doing a cover album this year sometime, so I guess for anybody who likes my music career. Look forward to that, I guess. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to check? I don't think there was anything else that needs to get fixed right now. I think right now the only thing that I really need to adjust later is just do some file adjustments, so... Uncertain what to do for now, honestly. Dude, congrats on the demo release. Oh, thanks, Drifter. Yeah. The rapid fire clapping is really good. It's like a whole legion. Really, it's quite good. A legion. We did finish playing through the demo. It was yeah, it was about what I thought. It was about 2-ish hours roughly of gameplay. Hopefully the full game is much longer, obviously, but just obviously I hope it's much longer, but I suppose this is sounds more like MMX to me. Kinda, yeah, I can see what you mean. Oh jeez, freaking! Why do I have all these songs with these like crazy starts? I wanted to listen to Rose one. What you doing now? I was actually just fixing up. I just finished fixing up the issues that I found in the demo. I found a bunch of issues in the demo and I wanted to go fix them. So I went and did that. Kind of a bit me just being a little like paranoid, but also just me being like, well, I just found the issues, I might as well go fix them. So I opened RPG Maker right up and went ahead to fix them. I spent the last 40 minutes or so just doing that, so I went and fixed everything. Now we have fixed the problems that were present in the demo. But right now I'm a little uncertain what to do because I will not tell a lie, I didn't have much planned after the demo was done, and this was kind of a surprise because I was like, oh yeah, no, I need to go fix this. So I had one question about video game music. Oh yeah, sure, of course. I'm gonna turn this down a tiny bit just because my brain is keeping up a little bit. Oh, what's up? We can talk. I could just sit and talk because I'd be more than happy to just discuss game stuff. Probably look at well, what's up? I'm trying to think of what to work on while I'm this. Oh, I do. Oh, that's right. I didn't fix these in the in this version. Not do those in this. Oh, raid request. Write down the raid request. And also I need to do some. Tiling needs to. I fixed it in the demo version, but I did not fix it in this. I did not think about it. All right, so who are we gonna go raid when we are done? Probably start grabbing these. That. Oh no, it's C time. I need that one's okay. That's kind of funny. That's maniacal. Oh, maniacal gamer. What was your question, Drifter? I am prepared to. Oh, while I was in Japan, I found a bunch of Japanese YouTubers who recreate anime and other songs in the sound profile of the Super Famicom using something called Famitracker 2A03. Well, any of you heard about it because the sound font on that thing is Preem. I'd like to learn how to use it myself. I have not heard of this yet. I'll need to look that up myself. Tracker 2A0. I'm gonna need to look that up myself actually, because that sounds really fascinating. Not to mention the fact that it just sounds really neat. Like, it just sounds neat to replicate that sound profile anyway. But doing so using that is that's just neat. I need. I'm also gonna fix up these tiles because I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Ooh. I'm gonna need to watch that later. Oh god. Brain. So I'll turn the music up a little bit, but this is the first song I ever wrote for an album. Ah, jeez. That hit me in the head of like, oh yeah, hey, you remember when you wrote this? I'm like, please don't. Stop, please. Oh, it's okay though. Honestly, I feel like the learning process of doing all those albums has been a lot of fun because it was great practice for writing music. I feel like of all the things I've done, writing books got me a lot better at using snappy dialogue and writing like coherent stories and plots and making sure that my ideas were well executed in terms of plot. And writing albums of music has helped me get better at writing music. Not just that music that loops and feels like video game music, but also learning new techniques for writing music. Stuff like learning about music theory and learning how the style I like invoking. Because I have realized that the style that I prefer is not the same as something that someone else will do. Case in point, though, is that when I write music, I write from a very rhythmic place in my head, rather than from a place of purely melodic or harmonic, like, you know, intrigue. Because I think there are a lot of fantastic musicians who use very complex music theory to create absolutely stunning pieces of music. But I've also seen that same level of intrigue and enjoyment come from a very simple place in terms of your writing music, right? So when you're writing music in that way, when you're writing from complexity, does not equate goodness. It doesn't equate quality. But I do think that there's a place for that very powerfully complex music. But I also think that for people like me who are kind of ding-dongs who are trying their best, it can sometimes help to have a specific idea, like almost like a stylistic go-to. You know what? Speaking on game stuff, you know what I am gonna do? I think I'm gonna talk about music in this game. Let me pop open. Let me go and find really quick music in the video game, in Red Genie itself, because I can actually talk about. You know what I can do with this? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close this real quick. Is the project saved? They've changes to the game. Oh. I forgot to mention I have a new wallpaper. I actually changed this wallpaper recently because I was like, oh yeah, when I'm streaming, I might need to cut to screen. I forgot to throw my screen blocker up, but actually this works out okay. That's that is no cap. That is no cap. My wallpaper now. I really like this wallpaper. It's my favorite right now. I did not draw it. This is not me. This is like I found it on Google. I did not draw this. I need to find the artist and credit them because I like this a lot. Look at this Kingdom Hearts cloud looking man. I love how good this looks, by the way. I found it on the internet and I love this image. I absolutely adore this image. One day I will commission somebody to make fan art of my Fox with the glasses and everything and draw them like this, specifically with the scarf that the adventurer wears in Red Genie. Like the main character's drip, the scarf, like the orange scarf. I want them to have that. Either that or a black scarf. I think black scarf looks fantastic. But what I is, because we started talking about music and I really can't stop myself from talking about music, I know what we're gonna do right now. For a little bit more of stream, I think I'll cut stream a little early. I might be like 3.5 hours in instead of 3. Oh my god, that's what this looks like in this view? Ew. Okay. But regardless, I think I'll talk about the music of Red Genie. And I'm going to specifically focus in on the music that I actually used that was in the demo. Stuff that's in the demo, and focus on the music theory and talk about how I wrote the music. We're going to start first, though, with we're gonna start with let's start the Minotaur boss theme. I think that'll be a fun. All right, load because it takes a while. Okay, this one I need to make sure is not loud as heck because it could be very loud if I'm not careful. So I'm gonna need to be careful. Very loud. Okay, so this looks like an incomprehensible mess. I will explain in a moment. So, for those who do not know what they are looking at, oh, this is gonna be completely different from Family Tracker. Oh yeah, So this is Ableton 10. I use it because I bought it for a class second year of college when I took composing for video games. I took it as a class, bought Ableton 10, and have had it ever since. This is what I've written all of my music in. Every single track in Red Genie is written using this DAW, or digital audio workspace. So what I tend to do is I actually write out the scale of music. I actually, if I ever forget what scale something is in, I usually check my bass notes. So, oh god, why is it so scrunchy? There we go. This is a little better to read. Okay, so when I'm working in the DAW, like usually if I write a bass line, so this bass line, if you look here, I am in the key of, I believe this is D minor, D Phrygian, basically. It's basically D Phrygian / D Locrian because I just grab the flatted. So in music theory, I wish I had a picture for this right. Crap. Okay, well I can show it here. So in music theory, actually I know what I can do. I could do this. I could do tech, and I don't need to save the save file. Okay, let me. Let's see. Actually, no, we'll do it up here. So when you're in a musical key, you have 8 notes, right? So let's say we're doing D. Let's see. Actually, let's do C major because this is the easy explanation. Just so I can. So. Too scrunchy. Okay. So I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna do like really fast music theory. So in every scale, every song is written using a scale, and that scale determines the key of the song. So say we write a song in C major, which is so C major. Was that too loud? I hope that wasn't too loud. So C major is that's like our default, like very accessible. That's like the centerpiece, the center of all keys. There is no flats or sharps. It's just C to C. So every scale is made up of 7 notes. Technically, eight is just one again. So 7 notes. Using these 7 notes, we have what's called intervals. So between C and D is a full interval. There's no semitone, half note. So a scale is built of whole, half, like, steps between notes. A whole step is like between your white keys between C and D, like between 2 notes. So if there's a black key between them, that is a whole step. So when I write music, generally, in Red Genie soundtrack, I tend to use I use minor keys. So what a minor key looks like is we start our scales at, let's say, so if we start in C, I do this like this. So really quick, so say we start our C major scale on A and we play it from there. See how that sounds different even though it's the same notes? This is what's called a mode. And when you write a scale like the major scale, every note in the scale can be the starting point of the scale. So when you start on A, you get a minor. Minor key is what most of your rock and roll, your metal, your sad music is written in. So like, if I build a chord out of the, so when you build a chord in a scale, generally, this is not a go-to rule. Generally, when you write something in video game music, when you're writing music, you're going to work in chords. So like if you play an A minor chord, it goes like this. Don't sound like that. In this particular song, I used what is called, so if I take this and we start it on G instead. Take this, move it down a full step, and fix it up. Start on G. This is what I wrote this song using. See how it kind of feels like it wants to go somewhere else when it hits this note? It's because the song basically is stuck between being what's called G Locrian and G Phrygian. So if I have, well, it's actually D. It's D for G. Say I grab, say let's set this to D so I can D. So take our major scale, lower this, that, Linkly view, I think you're accurate. Find out. Pretty good though. But so I wrote this song in essentially D minor, but I borrowed this. I go back to the bass line back here in the song. Go back here to the bass line. I borrow this note, which is called a flatted second, which lets me invoke the Phrygian mode without necessarily, like, you know, committing to it. So, God, please don't be loud. This is the beginning of the Minotaur boss theme from the demo you just saw. So, hearing that bit, you can kind of see how it immediately sets the mood. The goal of a song, of any song in a video game, should be to immediately set up your expectations. So when you set up your expectations, it should be that the song should immediately hit the listener, right? To me, I think personally, the best way you can get a listener immediately in is to give them something that is just like, all right, you need to be on, you need to be awake right now. Come on, wake it up. And that's not my general mode. I will say also, this is something let's see, is this written in? Yes, it is. Okay. The other thing I do as a composer, and this is something that has shown up in almost every boss theme I've written so far, I cannot escape 5/4 as a time signature. So, for those who don't know about music, time signatures are basically the way we divide the measures of music. So, most of your music will be written in 4/4. Say, like, pretty much every song you listen to on the radio, 4/4 time. That's what most people like writing in, because it's relatively predictable, extremely... There's something comfortable about it, but it also has some energy. Especially if you write a good drum beat, it can be very easy to do 4/4. I really love 5/4 time. Specifically, this note pattern here, the rhythm of the notes, is my favorite rhythm of all time, which is the 5/4 clave, which is basically you have a note on 1, the and of 2, like, you know, there's this syncopation here, where instead of playing it on 1, 2, like, you know, like it's moved over a half step, and then using that 4th and 5th beat of the measure, you have the dun dun. It's dun 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 dun. Because if you do dun 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 dun, it just dun dun dun, like this wouldn't have the energy it does. That anticipation would not exist if I move it. I don't even think I want to do that because it's gonna sound horrible, but also because I don't want to move it everywhere. Also, just really quick, I can actually probably show you what I mean if I move this back a measure, back half a beat. See what I mean? There is something inherently lost in the energy of the measure when you take away the anticipation of the clave. See what I mean? You feel it. It's something that you can feel. And it's something that's also carried in the drum part. Specifically, I accent every single time that the drums hit the beat of the song. Whenever it hits the syncopated notes, I accent them because I want that syncopation to be driven home. So let's listen to these two together. See what I mean? And I hope this isn't too much information and I'm not bombarding you guys. I'm really excited about this stuff. This is the stuff that's yeah, not really. Okay. I'm just making sure that everyone knows. And I think it's cool. I think it's very rare that people ever get to do this stuff for their games. Yeah, that's the one thing I kind of have as an advantage, is that not only do people can just come on and ask questions about this stuff and just ask, it's just like, hey, how did you write this? Like, oh, I did this. This info is like water. My brain is hydrophobic. Oh, excellent. Excellent then. I hope one day this is like Man, that's the one comment that would probably make me cry. Is if somebody's like, "Yeah, I was writing music for a game, and I watched this VOD, and I was like, oh yeah, I took this information, and I just went and used it." And I was like, oh, I did the thing that I wanted to, which is that I helped somebody. I helped somebody do something by keeping all these VODs. But when you're writing when I'm writing music, when I say your, but it's when I'm writing music, the thing I like to focus on, especially with boss music, is anticipation. I like having boss music have there's power in the 5/4, because the time signature of 5/4 to me is my favorite. It's my favorite time signature of all. I try not to use it often though, because I would write everything in 5/4 if I could. It would just be because that 5th beat always carries extra energy. It always has this like weird sort of punchiness that is not found in 4/4. At least to me. I don't think it just doesn't work for me. So I'm gonna do something that I'd like to try something though. If I could recreate one of your songs at Family Checker, I'd like that. Honestly, if you ever want, I could try and put it together as sheet music. I would be more than happy to help you with that. I will do my best to attempt to help. Oh, this is one I wrote recently, actually. That's not in 5/4. Save changes to no. This is something I wrote recently because I forgot that so this is a very short piece. I actually forgot to write the music for the in when you use the in, and it was using the default RPG Maker music, and I didn't want that because I wanted the music to be coherent, and I forgot this. So I wrote myself a little jingle for when you use the in to restore your HP and MP. I'll just play it really quick and then I'll explain what I did. So, this is a very short, very simple piece of music, very small. Essentially, just keeping it simple. Essentially, I built a 5th chord. So let's say every note in a scale has a Roman numeral associated to it. The strongest motion between two chords, say you play two chords next to each other, the strongest motion is between what's called the dominant 7th, the dominant 5th, 7th. Bleh. That's in minor key. Minor is for 7th, but the 5th going to the 1st in a major key. That is a extremely strong motion. 5th to 1st, strongest motion ever. It is very like if you play a 5 chord and then a 1 chord, it feels like you just landed at home. It feels warm and fuzzy, and it's always warm and sweet. It is easy to use. It has been used for hundreds of years. So why would I not use that as a very simple trick to write this little jingle? And I did. And the thing I wanted to try and do as an experiment for myself, and also as something to, frankly, give myself a bit more challenge, is to tell myself to say, how about you try and write something not only slow and easy, but to use counterpoint. Trying to have different motion in the song. And counterpoint is not something I'm good at. In fact, when I took music theory in high school, I was notoriously bad at, like, following the rules. Because to me, it's like, the rules are there so you understand why this technique works. You are not beholden to follow those rules. You are required by the law of creation and the will of your heart to do what feels best. To write music that resonates with you. Following rules sometimes gets you closer. And understanding the rules and what people have done before can get you a lot closer. Especially if what you're trying to do is invoke the same feelings as what's come before. That's why if you listen to my music, if you know the songs I grew up with listening to in video games, you'll probably notice that there are traits in my music that are either straight up ripped from or inspired by components of songs that I've listened to. I think the best example is if I pull up one of those boss themes again. There is one particular thing that once you hear it, you'll probably notice that this is something I do a lot. We'll use the Kripos version. we'll use this version just because it's easy. It's very quick. Okay, so let me play let me just play the beginning of this so you guys have it in your head. Okay, you guys have it? If you have that in your head, I am now going to pull up a song from a video game. I'm going to pull it up in a different tab. I can also cite, so not. Okay, here we go. And of course, it's playing an ad for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I escape it. Trying to hold it in. I will play it again really quick before I play the thing. Hang on. Let me play it again now that we have the. Let me play it again now that I have the thing ready. Okay, ready? I'll play it again for you guys. Okay. I want you to listen to that. Now tell me what's similar about this and a song from a game that I played as a kid. Okay. So to let you guys know, yes, that is Kingdom Hearts. That is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. And I just played a little bit just to let you guys know. Gotta bump that up a little. Oh crap! Let me do it again. Let me do it again. I'll do it again. Hang on. Again. Please, for the love of God, do not give me another ad for freaking Ant-Man and the Wasp. Hang on. Oh, it's the Game Boy version too. Oh wait, no, it's not. Hang on. I'm gonna do it again. I'll do the comparison one more time. Okay. All right. So here's my version. Like my song. Not my version, you know what I mean. Okay. Have that in your head? Now, I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories Fight for My Friends. Oh, crap basket. Really? Try it again. One more time. See what I mean? But if you're listening to it, you very can tell they're two different songs. But you can understand. Is that the stop note? Well, what specifically is though, I don't know how to call it. Basically, the thing that I kept sticking in my head was it's the anticipation. It's those notes. It's that pause in the notes that's more than a single beat. So it's like 1 and 2 and. It's like 1 and 2 and. It's like dun. Like bum 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 bum. You know, there's that pause. It's more than a beat. It's called syncopation. That's the technique of it. But it's this pause, this anticipation, where the notes are not directly on the beat. However, the drums, the accents in the snare drum are accenting when those notes happen. So you do have a sense of rhythm like this. You have this rhythm you can follow, but it's constantly dragging you over the next measure because it's always going dun, 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 and it keeps taking you over the line of measure to measure. So if we take a look at the boss theme I wrote, this section here takes you right into the next measure and it bleeds into it. So when I write boss music, I think about that a lot because that's my favorite technique. It's like I can't shake that out of me. It's very hard for me to shake that out of me because it's a very, I'm not gonna say easy, but it's my favorite boss theme thing to do. To give you guys a bit more spicy first time I'm showing it on game stuff, I'm gonna show the theme of a song, and you'll see that this idea carries over even further in the game. You know, like it's something that carries over pretty consistently across the game, along with with it carrying over just in general. I will show you what I mean. This is the theme of a boss that you guys have not seen yet. And it is a boss fight that is later in the game. Specifically, it's the required area next to the second half of the demo. But I'm only going to show a little bit just so you guys can see how it relates to the rest of the soundtrack. So yes, this is the kind of thing I do all the time, and it basically rams my dopamine into the dirt because I'm like, oh my god, I love this music. Over Drifter, yeah, that guy was. I deleted him as well. I attacked it. I have deleted him as well. Wait, month. Yes, a lot of the ones that have been happening have also been a month. Yeah, unfortunately, Drifter, there's been I have determined that when if somebody, if it's like they're not even, it's not even like they're not even watching. I know that they're not here. That's the trouble, is that I know quite well. But this music has, this is generally how I write battle music, though, is that I've kind of gotten it down to, this is what I really like in battle music. Trouble is that if anybody follows me and that's why I have it in the rules now, that if you're gonna drop a follow, you have to like say something. Like if someone's going to join in, if somebody's gonna like, if I see a follow without somebody like, you know, being in the chat thing first, like in the community thing, I'm like, no, I know that's not a person. It's pretty easy to spot, actually. But but writing music for the game has become, I recognize what I like in boss themes. You know what? I'm gonna show one more that you guys haven't seen, but this is because this is the one that I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be the one that I'm probably gonna be the most proud of. And that's because it is the only time in the soundtrack where I outright use something I've done before as the basis. I think it's easy, rather you just find your style. Well, and that's the thing. Once you, I think that once you recognize what your style is and you play into it and you recognize what you like hearing, it becomes easier to get the song to draw out of you because you have a sort of formula and an idea of what you like listening to. And I think that, especially as the sole creator for the game, it is easier for me because I can write music without shame. I can be like, okay, I'm going to make this boss theme this way because this goes with the story I've written and it goes with the gameplay I've made. I don't have to go over anybody's head to get what I want in this. I am the one who decides. But when you find your style and you've practiced enough and you learn your techniques, it becomes easier to find, all right, here's where I'm going to start from. It's not easy at all, though. I do think you're right, Drifter. It's not easy. But when it becomes easy with practice. And this is why you have to write some things. Like I was playing them earlier. Actually, before I show this, let me open something. That is like, for example, if I open up Maximum, and this is the actual Ableton 10 file of my first album of music that came out, I think, in 2021 at this point. Is that right? I go look really quick. Is it 2021 that Dreams of a Different World came out? Bandcamp. Did Dreams of a Different... I see. Really quick. Oh. People... Well, that's real mean. I just see people like, oh yeah, they listened to it and they skipped it. Oh, that's helpful. Let's see. I need to find it right. Now I'm curious. I'm curious now, because now I'm like... Okay. Go to my page. When did you come out? Oh my god, that came out in February 2021. Yep, that's oh my god, that's almost 2 years. Oh my god, my first album of music came out 2 years ago. Oh my god, I feel weird about that. Oh, that feels weird. That feels weird. This one's written in 4/4, actually. Hey, old man. Not even old. It's just like, oh my god, that was 2 years ago that I did my first music album. It's wild to me. It's like, oh my god. So, actually, I guess fun. Open. Okay, there we go. So, if we look at the drum part of Maximum, which is just fun. It's funny that I could look at this now. I use some of the same techniques because this is something I tend to do. is syncopation is the easiest way to create interesting rhythm. So as you can see, there's this 8th note driving hi-hat. There is a just realized that the drums also do like a 5/4 thing. Like, let's listen to it. See what I mean? There's this, what the style that I found I really like is this style of using rhythm to inform how the music is going to progress. It's creating this interesting rhythm that keeps the music moving. Because to me, I think that having every measure have to be harmonically interesting can be sometimes almost like, to me, it's almost like it's harder to write. And I find that it's just as fun to do interesting rhythmic stuff as well as interesting harmonic things. You know, interesting notes, like up here with the bass notes, you know, doing these little riff things. You know, stuff like that. It's like, but having interesting rhythm to me is integral. You have to have it to have good music. And that's why I write like this. I'm going to pop open this. Oh man, that means that does mean that next week I'm gonna have to post like, hey, it was 2 years ago that I posted this album. Anybody want to listen to it still? Hope they do. But good example of a boss theme that is a little atypical for me is this one, which you won't see the name of it, but I think for anybody who actually knows my music, they'll probably be like, wait a minute. But I don't know how many people know my music catalog well enough to catch me on this one. But this is one that I actually used something else I've written before as the basis. And then I improved upon it because I wanted to iterate on the song because it's one of my favorites I've ever written. And this is going to be a boss theme in the game. I'm just going to give a little listen to it. Chills. You have to stop it there though, but I was working on that for a while because man, that is gonna be good. That is gonna be good in game. Not even begin to tell you. I tell you. So also I guess as an interesting piece, I tend to have each of the songs have more than one variation on the repeat because I kind of prefer it. It's just more interesting, to be honest. I think it's just more fun. But yes, so I've done a lot of writing already. But I think that music being the focus of the game, I find that a lot of people, they grip onto the identity of the music because music can be real. It's a way of reliving memory that is far more accessible. Because I think, great example, when I listened to the Shin Megami Tensei 5 soundtrack, I remember the internal trauma of listening to the of hearing the boss theme, humans, demons, and getting smoked by Lamu enough times, and also Zeus and a couple other ones, and Odin. But we immediately hook our memories to music. So when we listen to video game music, it demands to be memorable if it's going to be a core tenet of your game design. And to me, I think if for me personally, music is going to be the way that I think having a good soundtrack is the indie game developer's secret spice. If you're a game developer by yourself, music is probably going to be the thing that is his name was Lamu. Yeah, like Lahmu. Yeah, that was the boss fight in Shin Megami Tensei 5. I know that it is based on a deity of some. It's based on a deity of some kind. I think it's Mesopotamian or Babylonian. Yes, but it was a boss fight, and the music, that was the first time you hear that boss theme in Shin Megami Tensei 5. and it yeah, left an impression, to say the least. But think about the RPGs you play and how memorable those songs are. Think about the fact that Megalovania is like an international meme. Like, the indie game developer scene is, it's like the secret spice of all great indie games is a good soundtrack. But it's also the secret sauce of every good game. No good game came out, like no game that went beyond good and went into greatness ever did it without a good soundtrack. Because music, art, and gameplay form the triangle wrapped by story that is, it's like when it's like being a mangaka, right? Where having all of the components working together and wrapped into a great story is how you make a great game. The story does not necessarily need to be a penned one. We see that with Minecraft, where the story is yours. But regardless of how you do it, a great game comes from those three components: artwork, gameplay, and music, wrapped in a fantastic story. And when you have all four of those working in harmony, you have a fantastic game. You can have elements of a game be dimmer than the brightness of its, fellow parts, but there are certain things you cannot ignore. Having a bad soundtrack or bad sound design can absolutely tank a otherwise fantastic game. Like, the gameplay can be fantastic. See, and it's similar because Borderlands 3 is a great example of this. Soundtrack, pretty good. Don't remember any of it, but it was pretty good. Writing, I won't talk about it. But the gameplay was stellar. Beyond stellar. It was fantastic. It was the best the series has seen. Made it an okay game. It made it okay. You didn't like the writing? If you're going to rip off Sonic Adventure 2 for your ending, props to you for having the balls for it, but don't do that with Borderlands. All right? Don't do that with Borderlands. We don't need that. Literally, it was Shadow the Hedgehog dying to stop the moon. That's not even, subtle. Look at it. Not even subtle of rip. It's like, oh yeah, we had the red and black their character with red and black in their color scheme, who happens to have a super form, go and stop the moon from hitting the planet. Yeah, that's real subtle. Look at that. Look at this freaking Shadow the Hedgehog up there. And then, then they have the little bit where they're like, oh yeah, she might not be dead. Would it be better to be pissed on it? Thought I would. Not Shadow though, Lilith. That would have been better. I don't know, just something different. Sonic Adventure 2 did it better, and I'm just like, God, why? Why would you do this? Pure agony, that is. Is there anything I have written that would be also interesting to talk about? I might call it for tonight. But oh, you know what? This is one that I think I want to talk about just because I think it's very pretty. So also, when I'm writing music in the DAW, I also render it out as a loop, so that the music will seamlessly loop from beginning to end. So if you play it at the end, it'll loop back to the beginning. This is the music that plays when you're in the town. The town that is called Krenui. This is the first major. This is like the area you come out of. This is an area that will be your hub. I kind of wanted the same notion of, it's a little bit warmer. Can I get your thoughts on Family Tracker before you end stream and raid? Oh, how about can I grab it really quick? Where is it? Let me go inspectigate. Family Tracker. You sent that link. Can you send that? Let me look it up on YouTube. Allow me to inspect on YouTube. Family Tracker tutorial. What was your tutorial? Who made it? Who made the video you sent over? Wish to inspect. Close. We don't need to show that for now. That'll be a surprise. One of those the Japanese YouTubers, not a tutorial, but a Baki the Rock cover. Let me inspect. We'll take a look in a moment. Pocket the Rock. Let's see. This one? Direct me. Also, is this going to... I'm making sure, is this going to be okay to stream? Much fun as I would like to get blasted. I just want to make sure. If not, then it's okay. I'll just take a hit for the team. We'll see. That's fine. Yeah, it's a cover anyway. Okay, so I want to talk about that because there's a couple things that I can actually talk about. One, that was cool as shit. But also, two, that is like, it's so good. And also it's educational because one of the things that I saw in there though with like how the thing was laid out was that it's exactly how, because they had to cover that in a way that makes sense in the Famicom. Because the NES, like the Famicom's sound channels, could only handle 4 channels at a time. And the good thing is when you're not writing for the sake of using it as like, you know, for a video game, if you're not actually going to use it in a video game, it can actually be a little easier to write. Also another bot. Check. But it's easier and harder. Taking a song that normally has at least like 10 plus different because normally when you record a guitar, there are multiple tones going through, and that creates, you know, power chords and chords, and that is what creates the sound of a guitar. You have to boil down the song to its 4 most basic forms: the drums, the bass, and 2 lead lines. That is what you have in the Famicom. That's it. So to capture the essence of the song excellently without losing much of it is like, that's insanely cool and insanely hard to do. So I could deeply appreciate that. The same when creating pixel art, right? You have to choose what makes up the important pieces of it. That I think is very important. But but no, that's really cool. I'm gonna need to check out that, and I might need to mess around with it some and see if I can make something with it. It also, what it seems to be doing as well is it's using pitches like in Ableton, where it's using that deep rabbit hole with that. Ah, pills! Ah! Ah! Pills! Ah! Hang on. Let me break something up so I can give you guys more to look at than just this. Hang on. Where? I need something. Ah! We were just talking about music stuff. Hi. Hello, everybody. We were wrapping up on my end. I'll bring this up for now. This will do. Ah, Pills Raid indeed. Hi, Pills. Let's see. Final Fantasy 8 remastered. Wait a minute. New boss music sounds excellent, by the way. Oh, thank you. I worked very hard on this. Oh, no, nope, you gotta stay alive for 3 more hours. What do I do with 3 more hours? Ah! I have to raid as well. Oh. I could talk more music stuff if you guys want. Oh boy. I'll stay alive for my usual time then, because I was about to leave myself, but no, I'll stay alive for a little bit longer. Before we switched to FF8, we did play your demo. Oh. I know that there were some rough spots. I actually fixed them right after I played it myself. There were some rough things that I was like, no, I must fix now. I actually did fix there were some issues that I caught in the game myself. And I was like, I actually fixed it. But what did you think? I actually went and fixed some stuff myself after the demo. I was doing it on stream. I was a little bad of me. I was like, no, gotta go work right away. What did you think though, Pills? I need some water while I wait. What I will do? Ooh, bring up some stuff. Very cool though. Very cool. I'm happy that you played it though. Even if you have to blast me for like it having a ton of issues, I'm good with that because that's good. That's feedback. Overall, very cool content. I love the weapon system. I did have some insights as Chris has possibly elaborate on more over Discord too, but I'm excited to see how it keeps coming along. Did you fill out the survey? It was in the credits. I hope that you can click on the link. Actually, it's like you can click on the text and it's a hyperlink. You might be able to write it up there. I'm hoping I can consolidate all of the feedback in the demo from that Google form, and then I can use it all to make my improvements. Probably going to do that next week, actually, is use that as the basis for the improvement. That might be a good spot for it, though. I put it together so that it would be someplace I could have it all together. But yes, I'm happy that I'm happy that at least I'm happy the weapon system is good though. I think the weapon system is I think it's gonna be a good selling point. I think people are gonna quite like that. All right, so I was gonna talk some more music stuff. This is the Battle Theme 1. This is Battle Theme 1. Oh, yeah, I was doing some behind the scenes stuff. You know, like I showed off RPG Maker a little bit, and while I was spot fixing some issues. So once the demo skips forward, I died and realized I had saved a long time, so I haven't quite finished it technically. Ah, I see. Yeah, I did at least try. I feel bad when it's like you die to saving. I will say, Pills, that happens to me all the time while I'm playtesting, where I'm like, oh, I'll just rush through, it's fine. And then I die and I'm like, I didn't save. Why am I like this? Yeah, I have to save like every 5 minutes. It is one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, I have to check it constantly. And it is Precious CH. Real person? Can a Precious CH please stand up? I want to make sure I don't blast somebody on accident. Well, not exactly, but no, I really did enjoy it a lot. Yeah, it's I have to kick myself in the pants every time I don't save. I'm like, it is one of those things that I do when I'm playing the game myself. So I have to remind myself consistently to save, like all the time, like constantly. Have to say save. Weapon system was cool. Spells are all neat. I definitely want to see more. There was one piece of it that I was thinking about adjusting was that I need to make it so you level up a little bit more, because I think that getting more spells underhand is good. Oh, the pixel art was fantastic. Oh, that's good. I think I'm happy that the art direction is in a place that people like. I think that's good. Love your sprites in the game. They're all nicely done. That's good. I think it's good that the artwork, because I was worried that RPG Maker's style would be a place of ire, but if people really like it, I think I'm gonna keep it as is, because I think that's gonna be like premium. That's premium. I think that's good. I remember a long time ago with RPG Maker, one of the things that scared me away at first was that RPG Maker used to be, it's like if you use anything of the default assets or anything in the that's from the original thing, Steam greenlight, people would just like say, nope, your game isn't going to get passed. The fact that that seems to have passed away, especially with the fact that Steam greenlight doesn't exist, so I feel a lot more comfortable with it. That's good. Good that the art. I'm happy that people like how it looks. And yeah, and the results from the survey will give me notes to work on the game, because I will be using those to directly. I'll probably be doing it next week because I have Monday off. I probably will be using those 4 days to use those notes and try to make the improvements and adjustments then, because then I could spend the rest of the time of game development working on the game and making everything, and making sure everything is ready, everything's done, good, and everything comes together at the end. So what we're looking at right here, so for those who didn't know, we just got here. We were looking at the audio files, the music workshop spots. One of my basic question curiosities for the game is, let's see, how the game will feel when you have more party members. Assume you get more since you have so many spells at the protagonist. The stream will be like Family Feud survey says. So Pills, I will tell you right now, that is why you have so many spells and abilities as one person. Pretty much. Oh, geez, this is. I just realized the tightrope of this question. I can't talk about. That is something that'll come up later. But yes, I just realized I can't talk about that without spoiling stuff in the game. Crap! You just put me in the catch-22 of I can't answer that question, but not answer the question kind of confirms it anyway. You know what? I'll just say for the primary chunk for the primary meat of the game, you are playing as the adventurer, as your protagonist, solely, which is why they have so many AoE attacks, and that's why they're able to do that. I kind of had that realization myself of you're one person in a game that's in a game style that's generally party oriented. So how do I account for that? Wasn't even me as a question you need to answer, just express my curiosity. I think, well, it's like, it got me talking, but I do think, though, that this man just crafted a question like a red Genie. I swear, that's gonna... But I do think that you guys will have a lot of fun with it, especially when you have the game as its whole. I have been told that the game is a very different experience when you have, like... Because I've made builds where it's the whole game up to the point it's completed. And it's a very different beast than if you're playing it like this, where you have just the beginning and then a part somewhere in the middle, right? Also, fun fact for everybody who didn't know, the second half of the demo where you get teleported to after you finish the first part of it is actually built specifically for this demo. Because I needed a place that was landlocked so I didn't have to worry about the players thinking, oh, I'm going to go this way. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going that way. So I built an area specifically for the demo so I could lock you somewhere. So I thought that was a fun bit. I thought that was going to be a... Okay, so I was looking at the music file for the music in the game. This is the Ableton 10 file. Forgot what this looks like. I looked at it. Oh, this is the... God, it still gets me moving every time. Just like in my chair, just like hitting a whip or something. Did enjoy the bit when I told the old man at the end I didn't actually want to go die in the Crimson. Pills, I will say, you can thank my one of my good friends for that. One of my friends, when I made that cutscene, I had him play the game the first time. He said, "Can you add a scene where you just say no?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So I made an alternate ending right there. I was just like, if I can figure out Steam achievements, it's going to be an achievement to get that ending. It's like, it's such a goofy ending. It's just like, really? Just give up? It, obviously, it's just it's a gag ending, and it's, only like a few minutes in. I had that, I was told to do that because he thought it would be really funny, and it seems like that was an accurate presumption. I think a lot of people are probably going to, like, find that ending and think it's fun. There's a fair I have found that my weird sense of humor has led to a fair bit of my writing, with certain things being kind of like, my sense of humor and my sense of writing is very present in the game, for better or for worse. I think if somebody ever reads like the books I've written and they say, yeah, I'm not like, it's not my bit, it's a nice bit for sure, I saw the option for no, I couldn't help but try it out. I will say I'm happy that it's also right at the beginning and it's not like somewhere in the middle of the game where it's like, oh yeah, you just kind of stop. It's like I actually realized only after starting Persona 5 Royal that Persona 5 Royal did the same thing, and I think it's just a shared bit of, it's just funny when it's like, oh yeah, do you want to play the game? No. Okay, then get out of here. Leave. Go. Get. It's a fun bit. So this is actually the file where I wrote the music. I will say, just to let people know, the hardest thing for me is writing melodies. I'm not good at, this is not saying I'm naturally talented at. Writing drum parts and writing like rhythms and bass lines and stuff and this kind of side, that's what I'm really good at. I am not great at writing melodies, but I've gotten better over time. Especially after working on Red Genie, I have gotten much better at writing melodies. Because I started realizing, like, okay, what makes a good melody and what makes a good... Seems like the hardest part for being a solo dev. Music seems to be the hardest part. I think music can be the hardest part if you haven't trained in it. I will say this is going to sound really... I kind of trained myself at college that in the way that I wanted to be a solo dev. And I kind of specifically sought out classes and, knowledge so that I would not have to work with other people if I needed to. Of course, there are things that are gaps in my knowledge, which is why I work with a good friend of mine from college who is an artist. They're fantastic. They're the one who, if I need to modify something in RPG Maker, I send it to her and I'm like, okay, I need help with this, and this is what the assets I have left over. This is what I need to get made, and that's why I'm actually paying her for that stuff, because I personally believe that artists need to be paid more. But for me, art is the hardest part. I'm actually not naturally skilled in art, like in the visual arts. Game design, I have that stuff down to a science. Mathematics, really good. Level design is like a specialty. Music, I've got down. I am horrible at visual art. Not horrible, not talented at it. I'm not actually I'm not talented in it. But music, I think it's because I focused on it. I did focus in on music because I've always liked music, like growing up. Like I was in band, I was in choir for a while the ladies in it were fun. Sad that paying artists is something you have to like clarify something you believe in. Like, that's definitely standard. That's what's sad, is like so many people, like, there are a lot of artists in the industry who don't get paid enough, and I'm like, why do you do that? Do you realize your game needs art to look like like grab them by the throat and shake them? Like, come on, like, you gotta pay them fair. You should be paying artists a fair wage. Like, come on, man, come on. It's part of the job. But it frustrated me. It frustrated me a lot when I found out about when I learned about how some companies are. Case in point, I remember once why must society not value artists? Because unfortunately, it seems to me that it's because it's one of those things that's taken for granted, that people will want to make things beautiful, but it takes genuine practice and skill. And skill comes from time spent working on your craft. Like, I will say that I've gotten better at visual arts. You can see by my PNG tuber that I've gotten better. I have certainly worked on it. But I am not naturally talented in it. And that is why I look to fill my gaps. I'm like, okay, what do I not know? I can write music. I've written my music, like you see, like I'm doing this. I can make the game. I can do all that stuff. I am not a naturally talented artist. As a game designer, I recognize well that I need to know my strengths and my weaknesses so that I can make better things. So by making a game that focuses in on good game design and good music and good storytelling, because I also took a lot of writing classes and I read a lot of literature and I learned what I like and don't like in writing. And by taking those in, taking in what I like and practicing my skill to get closer to that kind of thing. Oh, apologies. burping. I got closer to mastery and understanding my craft and getting good at it. And I'm not going to say it's easy. It's just but for me it's gotten easy because I worked at it. I practiced. I got good at it. And there's a very big difference between talent and skill. Because anyone can have raw talent, but it takes real mastery to hone it down to skill. But oh, you know what's one bit I wanted to talk about with this was this B section. I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about the music of the game. This is something that I did that I personally really like in the first battle theme you guys hear when you're playing the demo. It's this section here. I'll play the measures beforehand so you guys can see what I mean. This is the part that this is where I fight. This is why I know that I've gotten better as a musician. And this is where it is. This part. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. Whoops. Wait. Okay, there we go. Good. All right, we're good. We're good. Wait. Okay. Just select do it. Okay, so why did I say that is when I knew that I was better as a musician? That's because this is the first time in any of my music that I actually used what's called a modal shift. Like I'm borrowing notes from other keys and learning how to properly write A, B, and C sections of songs and making it so that there's a genuine shift in the music without breaking from its identity. This right here. And the way that it works is, it's definitely simpler than, oh my god, those emotes are great. I just saw them, like, these are amazing. Sorry that's a little loud. That was a little loud. I hope I didn't blast anybody's ears with that. I apologize. But these notes here, this is G. Let me, actually, I'll play this part in, is it in G or is it? This is in C. It's C and G, so it's forming a power chord here. Let's see. Let me mute some. I will also wait. Actually, leave the drums on. Let's just do this part. So when in the rest of the song, if you listen to the difference between what's called the root note and the next note in the scale of the song, most of the time, like if I go to where else? Pretty sure it's in the melody. I think. Maybe? Not cool. Oh, no, it is here, though. I'm gonna find a part in the song where it's... Ah, here it is, yes. Okay, found it. Alright, good. Okay, so if we look at this, this here, this is the bass line at the beginning of the song. You see that this note here, D, yes, we're gonna talk about the D. Get it out of your system now. You can laugh. Okay. I just had to put it out for myself too. It's just like, yes, the D. But the root of the song is C. So the song is written in C minor. Just don't worry about it. We'll get there. Basically, these two notes are in the key of C minor. So when I skip ahead to the part in the song where we have this shift right here, this note, C sharp, or otherwise known as D flat. Yes, if your D is flat for more than 4 hours, please contact your physician. But when you're using it in music, the key thing about using the flatted second of a minor scale is that, one, you're borrowing a note from outside your key, which is always spicy and interesting. And then also in this particular case, you're making the scale into what is known as Phrygian. Phrygian is basically it's basically Megadeth. If you want a really good idea of what that sound is. The flatted second is a very sinister, it's very easy to make a song darker by throwing something like this in. Very cool. It's one of my favorite tricks. I use it pretty much everywhere in the soundtrack, wherever I want songs to be a little bit more on the darker side. Great example actually would be the boss theme from the second half of the demo. Wherever the heck I put it. There it is. Do not save the change. Not touching anything. Yeah, we've been having a bit of a bot thing. So, the new boss theme, though, I also use the blues scale a fair bit, because the blues scale is an absolute bop. This is another one of those where I listened to a song, wanted to know how it worked, and then used it for my own means to write a new thing. Much like how Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories kind of got me to make some really interesting stuff. This one, it's another thing that I was, my brain was like, no. Take the pieces you like of it, rip it out, recontextualize it, do something new with it, make something new. I love that so much. It's so good. But writing this bass line drove me mad for a little while because I was trying to figure out how to, not that, writing this took me way longer than it should have, because it was a very hard thing for me to figure out, because I'm actually really bad at listening to music and knowing what techniques they're using. I can get I've gotten a lot better, especially if it's a technique I like already and I can spot it in other things. But man, is it hard for me to like hear a song and know what it's doing. Very difficult for me. But I like this bass line, this riff in particular. I am a big fan of. Very happy. This is also probably the closest to a rock-inspired song that I have in the soundtrack, because it is very much up there, and this is closer to rock and roll than anything else I've done. Oh boy. Alrighty. Whew. Okay. I should probably call it for tonight. It is a little earlier, but I'm also thinking that I had the thought where I'm like, man, I worked myself kind of a little too hard this week. I was up late a lot this week. Streaming an extra day was I am recognizing that my body's like, okay, tomorrow you're gonna be out for like 10 hours. Oh, okay, that's okay. All right, so I want to thank everybody for who got to come by to stream, and I want to thank everybody who got to come by who didn't quite get to stay to the end. I also want to thank everybody who's playing the demo. It's really meaning a lot to me that people are trying it out. I know that it's not certainly not representative of the final product, and it's definitely not representative of like the sum all. It's not going to be the final game will probably be a fair bit different. The beginning is pretty close to I think the beginning is pretty close to being finished, but that might be different depending on the feedback. I think if there are things that people really definitively say, yeah, this would be better if we change this, then of course I'm going to change it. And I'm really grateful for the fact that I'm really grateful for the feedback, and I'm really grateful that people are trying it out. Yeah, I'm excited to keep working. I am projecting right now that the middle of April is the release day. I told myself originally, I guess this is kind of a weird piece of the puzzle, as it were. Originally, the reason I was going for a March release originally, but then I found out that Star Wars Fallen Order Survivor was coming out, and I didn't want to compete with Disney. I think it's just a weird fear of mine. No longer April 1st? No. I'm not saying this as a definitive fact. Currently, the release date is looking at the 21st of April. That is my goal. I am pretty sure it'll be met. I don't think it's going to take me that long to finish the rest of the game and to get everything ready and to refine the game to its final state. And I hope that this next week I'll use the feedback that I get, and also, continue further, just furthering the development, finishing things up. I really hope that people, I hope that with this feedback that I'll be able to make something that's even better than what is already there. Yeah, so I do hope that I hope that everybody fills out the survey. That's kind of like my my number one hope, is that people fill that out so I can use that information to better make progress on improving the game. I do think that the demo is flawed in its own ways anyway, because there's some issues that I accidentally introduced. So I'll have to look into those some. But I hope that give it a go later today. What's the water my plants? Ooh, very good. Yes, plants come first, of course. So for now, though, I think I'm going to take the weekend and rest, because I do need to get some sleep and get some other stuff and get some stuff done. I need to clean the house. Cat's been shedding like crazy, so I vacuum. Thank you all for coming by. Oh, we're gonna raid out for now. Until the next time I see you guys, though. Bye for now, and thank you so much for here. Heck. Oh yeah, that's right. Stream Element still does not have a. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that's good. Stream Element still does not have a. Not have anything correct. This is fine, of course, but should probably fix that up at some point. Yeah, they don't have the. They do not get a gift sub. They do not get the gift. Probably should do that at some point, but. Broke game designer, what will he do? Let's see. Is the Maniacal Gamer still on? If I could spell correctly. They are! They're playing Golden Sun. Excellent. Maniacal Gamer. We shall raid. I will call it for now, though. Thank you guys all. So, the next I see you, goodbye for now. Thank you.